3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin The Racin.
Powered by OMG Racing, Bennetts and JCT Truck and Trailer Hire. And our personal episode sponsor for this one is CJP Investments. And the little message that they've got here for all of us, which is fantastic. We love the podcast, never miss an episode. We're not trying to gain any business out of this, just want to help you lads out. And ladies, of course. But Dom, give us a couple of years and we'll be your title sponsor. We're screaming at the TV during the Super Twin races, and Christian, awesome job at Knockhill. Well, this is a bit awkward. He never got any mention, lads.
That's all right. We'll take more. We'll take more of the budget when it comes. Don't worry.
Obviously, no. But thank you so much to CJP Investments. Absolutely loving it. So here we are, lads. It's been a while. It's been around about 4 or 5 months.
I think it was May, wasn't it? Was it May?
No.
It took us that long to get over the abuse.
Was it May?
May's just come and gone.
What are we in now?
May, June.
End of June, innit?
It wasn't May.
It's been a long season. You got a bang to your head at Donington, didn't you? We'll let you off for that.
I tell you what, I think I was about to say, I think the heat's got to us all. Do you reckon you should put the heating on, Joe?
We're just dying. It's just terrific.
It is. This is a proper, I remember when me and Chrissy went to interview Josh Brooks for the first time, and I was sitting there drinking beer after beer, and I just got more and more quiet. And the best thing about this episode,
you got more and more quiet after drinking beer.
There was a lot of beer, son. There was a lot of beer. So that's a hint for anyone out there who would like to get me to shut up. Just
silence you. Just get your whammoed.
Just get me absolutely.
Is there a bit in between that's worse?
No, to be honest, I probably
must go.
Did it
got to
go
go, Hannah.
Sleep.
Die.
Yeah. Nah, to be fair, I tell you what, this is not good. I got invited by a man called Gary Whitfield, who races with the North East Club, and he does a lot of racing on the power bike class. But he works for the Northumberland Estates, but he runs the game department for the Duke of Northumberland. He runs the entire show on that side of things. And he invited me to a charity shoot.
Oh, you was going the next day after I saw
mate,
it. Yeah,
what are you shooting?
He was panicking about getting tweed. He's like, "Do you own any tweed?" I said, "Do I look?
Did you dress the
Do I look?"
Mate,
there's only one bloke sat in his trailer who wants any tweed.
Well, he just had to go to Burton's, hasn't he?
I went there next actually because it was closing.
Oh dear.
it was closed.
I think Burton's has gone out of business, hasn't it? Since I stopped shopping there.
I was going to say, since you stopped. You kept it going. Retail's on its arse, but Josh Corner keeps the job going.
I tell you what, even before I finish the Duke story, I've got to put the show out. We're actually in a different location. We're not on the family Rouse's Drive here. We're down in where the hell are we?
Harrogate.
On Harrogate.
Harrogate. I thought it was Ripon. Where's Ripon from here then?
About 5 mile out.
5 mile. Well, anyway,
it's nice round here, by the way.
Yeah, town was lovely. It was nice.
As much as the traffic was annoying, it was nice.
Place is aggro to get to. Is aggro to get to.
But lovely place.
Yeah, it's nice. No, it's nice. They do a good job.
Joe's Gardens.
Keep all around about it's nice and clean with all the flowers and everything's all covered. Did the Tour de France here?
Floral.
Start the Tour de France here in 2015.
Did they?
I think, yeah.
Tour de France?
Yeah.
Tour of
It didn't start in the UK once.
Didn't? Yeah. I'm sure it was a Tour de France. Yeah, Mark Cavendish whammoed himself on Parliament Street.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It was a Tour de France. You remember Christian? And then they did the Tour de Yorkshire round here that started here. So,
is that still going? The Tour de Yorkshire?
It starts tomorrow, doesn't it? The tour? Friday? No, it is.
Tour de France, yeah.
Hold on, why aren't we entering him in this?
And by the way,
for our audio listeners,
that he would be able, if he wasn't racing motorbikes and committed to cycling full time, that he could very easily within a season to be in a Tour de France team.
Sadly, I couldn't, because do you know what this is? This is what happens on. It's like a track day rider that thinks they can go and race. And I don't mean any disrespect to track day riders, but in terms of cycling, I'm like a middle group track day rider.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you fucking not?
No, you don't realise how good people are until you
it is
go
ridiculous,
with them.
Yeah.
And I've ridden with some pros, and it's not going to be my next career.
You think you're doing all right, and then you get out.
Well, I'm not.
Yeah,
you just.
think,
I still think that you would be able to at least go and have a season as a professional cyclist at some level.
Do you know what?
No, I think you've got the
bottom
no,
level.
I think that you could do it because you would commit to it. Like he texted on Friday night. I'm doing the coast to coast tomorrow. Leaving at 6. Are you coming? Let me just have a look at how far that is.
And by the way, he's
176 miles.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Sorry, mate. I'm
Washing
busy.
my hair.
Sorry, mate. I'm washing my hair.
I tell you what, by the way, if anyone wants to be sickened and think about their health and life choices in general, look at Christian Iddon's Instagram page, because even I looked at that and felt I was sweating watching it.
Well, you've all, by the way, you've just been laughing at my special tan. So from doing that, I did do a coast to coast. It was quite a hot day, and I've got the best tan on the back of my neck.
No, turn around and
You've
show
got like a xylophone tan look.
Oh, what's that?
Well,
Is that all your fat rolls? All a bunch of
some fat rolls.
He was previously a fatty in a previous life.
So my neck fat rolls are giving me this like zebra tan on the back of my neck.
I've just watched that Unchained, and they have.
Oh, it's amazing, that, isn't it?
They have the fucking helmet things, stuff, yeah. That you see, that's what made me fall in love with getting the road bike out.
Yeah.
Got the road bike. I watched that. Got the road bike out. Give it a wash down, and just thought, go out and just pedal a few miles. And
I tell you what,
that's shit about myself.
That's a perfect opportunity, because you were talking about this charity ride. Is that actually happening, or is this like an idea?
Is this like the one you did last year where you didn't complete it?
I did complete it.
You just took everyone's money and didn't do it?
I did complete it.
Wow,
dickhead.
You should have taken the piss out of his fat
I
rolls.
completed, no. So what Christian's referring to is that I completed the challenge, but I personally set my personal challenge higher than that, and I never hit it. I ran out of time this year, I never hit it. I hit the challenge that people paid money for, dickhead.
So I tell you what, hold on, I'm gonna look at
if you want to
this.
sponsor Josh,
Not to succeed.
you won't do it, but it'll go to a good cause.
£1,000 more than you've raised for charity.
It's very
Christian.
true.
Just saying. No,
That's
it's
very
not.
true,
There's not a charity ride. Basically, we've just had a few patrons that have obviously like follow on Instagram and stuff and see that we do a bit of cycling and stuff like that, and Christian more than others, and said like that I think their local round is netted in. We thought actually it might be quite a good idea. So maybe we would organise a cycling event if the patrons are interested in doing
you
it.
cycle there?
Not cycle there.
Oh,
Cycle when we get there, maybe something like that. But yeah, it just was an idea came up. Like a few people have mentioned it, and it might be quite a nice thing to do.
Got to be
We could
careful,
do it
aren't
for
you? Because
charity
you're thinking straight away, if it's a charity do, it needs to be a big challenge. But then, if you want to,
I was thinking I've got to take the caravan. I'm thinking how I can hitch it up to my bicycle.
But I get it. But then, if you wanted everyone to be involved and get like a proper charity worthwhile and get everybody involved,
Yeah, I mean,
you'd have to say let's do 10 laps cycling around Snetterton.
yeah, it would be good. It's always nice to do something for charity if you can. It wasn't this. Yeah, like we'll probably look into it.
I'll tell you what then, shall we just put it out there? So anyone listening, give us a challenge that the four of us can do together.
Yeah,
that would be good. Yeah,
Give us an idea. Doesn't have to be cycling, by the way, but just give us a challenge that the four of us are capable of.
That we should do something that has the number 6 and number 9 relevant in it. In memory of Chrissy. And
Where's this going, Joe?
Well, I did think. You're fucking sick. You're sick. I did think.
Trust Christian.
690 is nearly in that Land's End to John O'Groats and back again. Would that be nice?
I just said, can we get something that we can all do and capable of?
Well, I don't
have to do
Land's End to John
it over. You could do it
O'Groats.
over like a week or something. You'd have to do something.
Anyway, I'm keen to hear any ideas.
Yeah, we got.
I'd be keen.
Basically, someone messaged about that.
I tell you what,
anything.
I tell you what,
Any idea?
some mates of mine have just done a coast to coast. They did Morecambe to Bridlington on a 4-man tandem that they built out of 3 bicycles off Facebook, and a mate of mine welded them all together, and they raised nearly 10 grand for Yorkshire Cancer Research and the Yorkshire Air Ambulance.
4 people on 3 bicycles?
No, four bikes all welded together.
Oh, I see.
That's fantastic.
That
is pretty cool.
I mean, I don't want to do it, but like, fair play, because that's brilliant.
I'll be the one at the back with my legs off, so you won't even know.
Yeah, well, one
You
of
three
the
will
mates
be
he was at the
pedalling.
back. He was
You know.
I'm the king of freewheeling here. Don't be the.
We said it was like a wagon because the front pulled in and the rear was still sat out in all the traffic. He said it was fucking terrifying.
That has to be pretty well welded, doesn't it? That's
No,
quite-
it snapped partway through and they had to get a farmer to weld it up again. And a farmer's weld won't break.
No, that's true.
Not from where they can see it, anyway. It's basically a farmer that welded it up to start off with, so that's why it broke. Anyway.
I like it. Everyone's looking at me for direction here. This is proper podcasting.
Shall we begin?
Dominic, should we start? That's the intro.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there.
We don't need to. I looked at the time there. Within 7 minutes, right? You're never going to get charity
offended
sponsors
each other.
ever again. He's upset every track day rider going. I'm trying to think what else we can get in there.
By the way, talking of track days.
Bennetts.
Bennetts.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've now said the sponsor.
I went all marketing. Have we talked about the pit perch yet?
access no one else can get. Buy insurance. No. That one at Silverstone.
Someone else, never mind.
That one at Silverstone.
Oh, the monster attractive. Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
Yeah, I tell you what, you kids, man. Yeah, right, for audio listeners alone, right? I've got. Like, no one's wearing
you drinking
headphones
that, by the
here.
way?
Mate, I'm trying to work here because,
Can I have
like,
some?
the headphones, everyone has to wear the headphones. Everyone thinks it's like a look, but no, you're supposed to gauge your own volume. This is generally
That's the way of
enjoyable.
screaming.
Like, honestly, it's so... Mate, like, this is mental to listen to. I'm absolutely loving it. People be jumping up and down and like, what the fuck is going on here? But anyway, I've interrupted yet again. What were you going to say, son?
Well,
Sorry.
no, I was just going to say they had that real special track day with quite a few fast
It
lads
was
on
a
it.
Monster
Monster
Energy one, wasn't it? So when we were at John's a couple of weeks ago, he was preparing to go. And
To something.
He told me they were preparing a Silverstone day all for the Monster athletes. So they've got all the MotoGP riders that are Monster athletes, the World Superbike riders, BSB.
Roads.
Weber was
So,
there, wasn't he? Rhodes,
Was he?
yeah,
Was
Rhodes
Webber
lads.
there, was he?
Yeah, he was on
Webber
another one.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a picture of him, I'm not even going to say it because it's going to sound like a slag him, but he looks like he's riding a motocross bike. It was like really good. You know all the photos you see from the last corner at Silverstone,
Yeah.
and everyone's like tucked in and that, and he's like this, and I just thought that's class.
Oh,
Because he's obviously a
no,
legend,
I
but it was
think
just funny.
Everyone was
Mega.
on like different bikes, though, weren't they? Like, and I felt really sorry because Randy Mamola was on a big scooter or something.
Yeah.
Was he?
Rossi was on that superbike thing that he's got as well. That looked pretty trick.
I think that's a really quite a trick thing.
Yeah.
That
was
could run.
Definitely not just a
John
track
had his
day
Honda,
bike.
didn't
Didn't
he?
Skinner turn up with his 250
Oh.
TSR?
It's got to be the best
That's
thing
Skinner
there.
turned up with his.
He's
little
not.
weapon.
He is not stupid. That boy.
He
is it? 'Cause
wasn't
I'm not
going
being
slow
funny.
either. I seen a video of him. He's like spinning the rear wheel, sliding it.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah, and I thought, fuck me.
So from the
it
UK,
wasn't a
there
duel.
was Josh and Hickey, MD,
Skinner.
McGuinness,
McGuinness.
Skinner.
There's quite a few there.
That's pretty cool.
How
But
many-
then there was like Rossi, Ray,
Benzecchi.
Bezecchi, Pecco, flipping
Was Acosta there?
Rossi.
Yeah, they were all in there, weren't they?
Every single one.
No, definitely not Acosta. That's the wrong
Oh,
brand.
yeah. Oh, shit,
I
yeah.
don't think he was invited.
Yeah.
But like, I got a bit fed up of seeing all the things on socials, and they kept billing it as the best track day ever.
What
To
was
me,
the
it's the worst
hashtag
track day ever.
TODL? What was
Yeah,
that?
it would be
But,
the
like,
worst track
can
day
you
if you were
imagine?
me.
I like to go on track days because I feel quite good about my riding abilities.
Just
Do you mind
getting
you going down? I'll
smoked
be
by
like,
them
yeah,
lads.
I'm gonna drop down a group if I'm honest with you.
Maybe
my
ride
bike's
around
not
with
quite
my
moving
motor
right.
on his scooter.
I don't know.
Johnny Ray, he was
I don't
there.
know what the hashtag was. It was.
It was
it-
TODL,
It'll
wasn't
be
it?
track day of a lifetime or something. Isn't
17, 18.
it? Just missing an A.
I don't know.
Should have been T-Dol. T-Dol.
Two-dual.
Never
Wow.
ever trust my accountant. But
Total.
19.
19 what?
Monster athletes.
Well, have you
That's
seen, is that a
mental.
picture? on
That is a
thingy?
picture, yeah. Would anyone like the clap later?
No,
Well
you're
done,
right,
no,
you'd be
no,
right.
no, no. Like,
Oh, Locatelli, I suppose he would have been
Andrea
there.
Locatelli was there, yeah.
I would
Anyway, it's pretty cool.
Some serious
Hey,
doers.
I
Like,
tell you what, I'd love to know what the paycheck is there. You know, collectively, how much they get from Monster. No, because obviously
tell you, on
Rossi's
the-
Rossi, so he'll be getting paid a fortune. John McGuinness will be getting paid a fortune. The rest of them will be getting buttons.
on the,
Well, no, Michael earned his money this year, didn't he?
Yeah, my God, did he? Well, he won both Supersport races, didn't he? So obviously there's that
Do you know
incentive on that side of it.
So can we go on to that then?
No,
Let's
Go on to the TT.
Go on to the TT because I love watching the TT.
Brilliant.
We'll go on to your amazing TT in a minute. But MD was
Mint.
unbelievable.
yeah, impressive.
Mint.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Do you know, though, I think Toddy was unbelievable as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that because I think
Extremely.
I was actually very
Do you know what?
pleased for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a fucking fair play because you'd obviously had a good run, but he just seems to have made such a step. Like that was a big step
He's
forward.
made a
I
massive
think,
step
from-
because last year, probably by his own admission, he kind of plateaued last year after having a mint year the year before. His rate of progression was really good, and then last year it sort of like leveled off a little bit in terms of his results.
What, just to the TT?
Just
Or-
the TT.
Yeah.
And then this year he's made a huge step.
yeah, like
Don't know.
Nice to see.
22, he wasn't running. He wasn't sort of the.
No,
I
but
hate,
he's-
I hate the fucking phrase, the best of the rest, especially around there. But he wasn't the best of the rest. But last year he was the best of the rest. This year he just kicked the fucking front doors in, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But it was a big.
And that-
that's it.
and
But it was a massive step.
Yeah, like
The,
you
the
think
problem
a
is
massive
with
step.
the TT is you're always going to be, or up until last year, you're always overshadowed by the Michael Dunlop, the Dean Harrison, and the Pete Hickman show.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. 4th back to 12th.
Yeah.
They don't get the justification.
But that's
that
what I
they
mean.
deserve.
That jump to get to be in that.
Do you know what? I think he has gone
TT
about
aliens.
his business perfectly, and
Yeah.
I know from inside information, maybe, or from away from the spotlight of everything, he was so fucked off last year with where he finished, and he felt that he deserved to be, or was more than capable of putting in the top 3. And I think can be a dangerous position to put yourself in, because you then go back thinking, well, I'm the fucking man and I'm going to kick the doors in and then something terrible happens. But I think John's been instrumental in helping him. I know John's been, guiding him through everything. The way he conducted himself this year, you can't have anything but admiration for the bloke. He's fucking gone about his business very, very well. He wasn't, you watch him, you're not going, oh my God. Because it takes a while to get used to Michael Dunlop's riding style, doesn't it? Because you think, fuck me, but it's just the way that Michael rides. I don't think you get that with Davey. I think when you watch him, you're like, oh, he's trying, but he's not.
Yeah, but to win a senior, like he went there and won a senior, like that's class.
Outstanding.
It's just that I was delighted from him.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that's a bit of an unpopular opinion. I think that senior would have been questioned if he didn't have such a good stock race.
What do you mean?
No, because unfortunately the thing about the TT is that yet again, we have our terminology that you hate, but gifted. Hickman came off, the clutch went on Dunlop's bike, but because of how he rode that stock race, no. The stock race, that was one of the closest finishes that we've ever had. Hickman and him for the entire race within.
Yeah, it was a full blown battle.
It was a full blown battle, and Davey won the race. You know what I mean? So at no point, bearing in mind they were banging out 35s on the stockers, the pair of them.
And Hickey does generally take a couple of laps to warm up.
In that last senior race when Hickey went down, he was on a new lap record pace. However, Davey was only 5 seconds back at the time, which isn't.
No, it's not
massive. So
Davey was there in the fight.
Going, if anything, pushing him to do that.
But I mean,
I know what you're saying.
It's a performance
even stopped people from saying that.
I'm sorry, but with 4 blokes sitting in a trailer in North Yorkshire that race bikes, we understand what he's done is absolutely amazing. But from the public's persona, how they would see it is going, well, he only got that. He only got given that because 2 people. Exactly.
But you know what?
That's something that needs to be eliminated. But because he did such a good job in the stock race, that needs reminding, in my opinion.
My counter to that would be, like I've just said, they put the public put Hickey, not in any particular order, Hickey, Dunlop and Harrison as the main 3.
Yeah, that's
what Davey's done is he's put himself in that group, regardless.
And there's 4 of them now, isn't there?
Yeah, if you want to call them the aliens, he's now in that group, isn't he? He's in that.
Do you think if he goes next year that Brooks could be in that group?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you're not far away.
He's been going to the island for a long time, and
I think he's had a few big days.
That last Superbike race was insane. But the trouble is, in the first Superbike race, he had a chain go, didn't he? So he never really got to go out in it. I think they didn't have a great time on the stockers for some reason. So he actually never really got too much of a shot at it. So that last race was pretty much the first shot he got.
Yeah.
And after, some of the scares he'd had earlier in the week, it was unreal.
Pavement.
I tell you what, I don't care who you are, how he handled that was unbelievable. Because you could see him, he saw the curb coming, and for a second he shut, and then he went, fuck it, and he actually put the throttle back on. You could see it in his
he stubbed his fag out, didn't he? Went right.
100%. He literally just went, oh, fuck, all right, power on. Because if he shut off and kept shutting off.
For any of those that haven't seen it, he comes into Kirkmichael and runs very wide, following Davey, I think he was.
Heads for the bus stop, doesn't he?
He basically manages to ride up a dropped curb and down a dropped curb.
But it's what... See, that's the thing about the Isle of Man government. Like, the TT organisers do an unbelievable job to make that track as safe as they can. It's a road race. You're never ever going to get rid of the furniture fully. But every curb on an exit of a turn is chamfered for that reason.
Yeah, but only a bit of it was.
Oh, no, a bit of it. No. I'm not making it sound like it was a luxurious mountain ramp. You know what I mean? But it was...
I mean, the bit where he rode up was can only have been 2 metres wide and at 150 mile an hour.
Oh, aye, but the same.
Can I say something? You'll understand this. When you've done 4 or 5 nights, you can spot that coming, can't you?
Oh, 100%.
It's weird. It's bizarre.
Your brain's in tune to that speed.
I don't think you ever get the same thing with circuits. Everything does slow down, And we've all had it where we've crashed at 80 mile an hour in the wet, and you think you're doing 5 mile an hour, and you got to get on your feet, and you're immediately face planted because you're still doing 50 mile an hour sliding at you. We've all done that. It's the same thing with the roads, isn't it? When you've done it, the first night's terrifying, second night calms down, third night, actually, if you think, fuck, I'm running wide, you can almost aim for the drop curve.
You're a bit more in tune with it.
Yeah.
But if you,
his chain snapped. That was another close call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was end of Cronky Body as well.
Yeah.
Fuck me, pink.
Going in somewhere with no engine brake like that.
I expected him to be a bit further up on the 600.
It's a good 600, isn't it?
He's
A very good 600.
But I don't think he's had much time on it, so...
Yeah, maybe he just didn't, for whatever reason, just didn't get going. But I think that he could have a lot of success on the 600. He just had a good ride on the big
rider
bike,
talent, so that's all. But he's been going for a long time. He's now 10 years deep into going. Not that he's 10 years deep into
he had a big gap, didn't he? He had a big break in the middle of it, yeah.
Still,
Yeah, and when he was there on the Norton and stuff like that, like...
still did 131 on that Norton.
Yeah, fair.
No, he did 130 on that, and then...
Yeah.
It was him
No,
and Dave that year,
it'll
wasn't
be
it?
131.
Yeah.
Maybe even 2.
But he wasn't like doing what most newcomers would have done, where they turn up on pretty known machinery that you can just plod on and learn tracks on. He's on something that was required a little bit of fucking a bit different. But
I tell you what, did you see the speed trap? So bearing in mind that has been so gradual, over the years. You know what I mean? 99, 200. Didn't even touch 201. Josh Brooks turned up on that nasty bitch of an FHO bike.
Was it 204?
I'm talking about the bike being a nasty bitch. I realised
as you said that.
No, it did sound that wrong, actually. I'm thinking people may cut that out and edit in that, so I'm trying to come my own arse. But the reason I'm saying that is I caught up with John. I said, fucking hell, you did 207 nearly through the speed trap.
207.
206 point summit. And I said to Josh, I went, how the hell have you done that? He goes, well, the bike's just like a nasty bitch and I know how it behaves, so that's why I'm saying that. But it was the way he delivered it was absolutely class. But when you think that is galloping, when you think David Todd was doing 201s and I think he built that up to a 203. Oh, I'm clutching at the straw. It was nowhere near 207. And that was the same with Hickman.
Do you know if Josh did that in the draft or not? Did he do that slipstream?
That was clean.
I don't quite understand that because they're almost certainly engines of exactly the same spec. I mean, Josh has come from small bikes, so he probably just has a fantastic tuck.
No, but in the same breath,
the speed traps down Sulby, and you come onto there through a fast left-hander. So if he's just got the drive through there, but
in the same breath, the one thing I will say though,
but if you're the last time he raced at 201s, then and it's only one person, he maybe just got a perfect draft for the speed trap.
He's the right height as well, isn't he? He's the right height.
He's very compact. That's what I mean. He has come from small bikes. He's a very efficient rider, like you say. He's a perfect.
2.5s. It was like 2.5s, 2.6s consistently. When he started breaking a pattern, he was in that.
Yeah, the lap times were super fast, considering it wasn't the best week for weather, was it?
No, I was thinking about that because actually this year was...
So actually it was a jump when I wasn't expecting a jump.
Yeah, well I paid for that thing. I paid the 20 quid to watch the thing because I couldn't get across.
Worth doing?
Oh, mint. Worth every penny. It's fantastic. I couldn't believe how good the coverage was. I didn't have it last year because I was there for most of it. And I was thinking about... Obviously the weather was amazing last year and you could really tell that early on, couldn't you? Because I thought, I expected them to be further on, and then you looked at the track time they didn't have. Like last year they almost had too much practice, didn't they? So I wonder where it would have got to if it had been like that again. But there was a lot to contend with this year, wasn't it? That watching, being able to watch it was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I would highly recommend it to anyone that does it. Not that it's sponsored by us. They're not sponsored or anything, but it's fucking fantastic. It was 20 quid and you get so much coverage. If you're not there, but even if you are there, it's good actually because you can see what's going on.
It is more accessible.
It was really good.
A lot more accessible.
I know we talked about it on the pod with John, but go on, talk us through your week, your fortnight. No, because this is a catch up for us. So
no, well, I feel like we're kind of cheating everyone out of listening to this on this side of things, but it's a bit like. No, the weather. I'm like, and yes, I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with John, but we're talking about how the weather was actually mint, but shite at the wrong times.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It was like the rest of the time we're walking around in like t-shirts and shorts. Not as hot as what we're sitting in right now, but in the same for everything.
When you're due to go out for practice or something, yeah.
But then you got the tarmac situation, like, and it's mad because like I actually, funny enough, I was racing at No Limits Croft this weekend, and I bumped into Milky Quail. His son Liam's racing in the championship, but it was just like what's interesting. It'd be a really good guest to have on the show actually. But he was talking about like the constant battle between the Isle of Man government and the TT. On that side, I think, yes, it's a government-run event, but trying to get everything sorted is phenomenal. And like Milky's argument was a very crucial one. It's those roads are crucial roads at the TT. So when they're getting patchwork done, it's a bit like, well, hold on, this is actually a main line between Douglas and Ramsey. It's a bit like, why are you only fixing bits of it when you think we have a huge infrastructure to bring in a crowd, like to actually fully fix the road? I'm not talking.
What was actually wrong with it? I don't know about that.
I've missed this story.
Yeah.
No, so it's little bits like, so there was parts of the TT circuit. They do this every year, is they make improvements in one part of the circuit, but that leads onto a problem later on. So you can imagine if you build so much speed through one corner. So let's use Kerramore. Kerramore is a bit, when you come out of Ginger Hall, where Peter Hickman unfortunately came off, coming out of Ginger Hall pub. But that next downhill left, mate, what was that normally like?
You used to like bottom out in the bottom of it, and then you have to flick left and right, and then it's all bumpy over another fucking bump past a cottage. It was just...
If you trailed the brake into there, you weren't coming out of it. I mean, it was just that violent bump, because obviously it's getting used all the time. So when the heat gets in the tarmac and people are braking down the hill,
it was like an opposite of a speed bump, wasn't it?
Exactly.
That's how it felt when you went down.
Pushes it.
That's it. Yeah. So it's moving all the tarmac.
So they improved that then.
So for this year, they massively improved. Mate, it was like a motocross berm. I mean, you could just go in, just do all your brake and let go, and you could actually hammer the throttle all the way through and just sank in and just went all the way out. But as you can imagine, you're carrying like, I'm not even exaggerating, 10 mile an hour more, which is a lot in our game.
What? Going in or through the left and then into the right?
Through the left going into the right, you know what I mean? But then it gets bumpy, like it gets worse on the way out.
And because you're going quicker.
That's it, but that's a track that part of the track wasn't a problem till you've gone quicker through a bit, then they'll have to try and correct that. But if you know what I mean. So that's the constant battle as a TT rider. I know you're saying about Josh being the perfect, like Josh Brooks being the example there. But like, yes, you know the circuit, but the bumps change every year. People don't realise that. And you're going in, it's like, whoa, like going back one, but like Peter Hickman through that turn at Ginger Hall, that used to be so smooth. But then they did a tarmac join. There's actually a lip there. Now, Peter Hickman, by his own admission, like said he just went a little bit wide in his own words.
He was offline, wasn't he?
He said shot wide.
He said he didn't push the tyre in hard enough to make it turn. Is that something you agree with on short circuit sense?
I mean, I wasn't there in the moment.
He's on.
No, but this is what he's saying. No, he's saying he's gone in and he said like basically he hasn't pushed the tyre in hard enough, which you can imagine if you've got the front end down, it's going to turn on its nose. But he's saying he didn't push the front hard enough, which didn't allow him to turn, which caused him to go off wide. But because of that, like that essence of the jump, he's gone in and gone boom. It's just lifted on him.
Do you know when I did that stuff for Fast Bikes last year, we did a few photo shoots through that, and I felt exactly the same thing.
They are.
And I remember thinking, oof.
That at 30 mile, like, 30, 40 mile an hour on a road bike. But I mean, like, you've raced around there when it's just, I mean, there's a lamppost, you can get your knee right down underneath. Oh, it was amazing. But now you've got to anticipate the bump. But going back to my main point being, they improve a section that leads on to another problem
makes
somewhere
sense,
else.
That. Now that you say it, it kind of actually makes a load of sense, really.
That's it. That's nothing that the Isle of Man can't do. You know what I mean? But as you can imagine, what they've done this year is because of the infrastructural battles between the TT organisers and the government. Bear in mind, full disclosure on this side of it, this is my opinion. This hasn't been put in front of us with a bit of paper saying these are facts. So I'm probably getting this all wrong. But the infrastructure team and the government, like the TT lot, a constantly battle saying, well, we want this whole section done.
Yeah.
Call it 500 yards.
Yeah.
But what they're doing as far as keeping the money down and obviously time, labour and everything, they'll fix parts of it.
Yeah.
So one of our biggest problems on the track was this year is where the tarmac's joined, they've only tarmacked half of the track than the other. But because the tarmac's holding the water, and because they've dug down, all the under all the water from the rain from the mountains coming up through the tarmac and coming to the join.
Right.
So the old tarmac's got such a slippery, like a smoother surface. It's creating surface runoff rather than holding it. So you're coming in and you're going in the corners where the tarmac's physically holding onto it, and it's creating damp spots in different sections. So when it's trying to dry overnight, that's what the organisers were competing against.
Well,
trying to
so patchy sort of thing.
Patchy areas. And I tell you what, while I'm having a rant, there's nothing worse than these bellies going, well, they used to run in the race. In the rain. Used to
fucking
run
don't now, so don't worry about it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
I've never raced there, and even I hate that. I just think, like...
But
it's the same as when they fucking bang on about endurance racing. They say, oh, well, we used to do 24 hours with 2 men. You were riding an 80 horsepower turd, weren't you? You weren't trying to hang on to 220 horsepower of the fucking thing. Yeah. It's just our boys.
On the subject of that, I'm really interested to see what you thought of your first time riding it on a proper superbike.
Too much.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. That I am so grateful to the Burrows Arcade Racing team for putting me on a superbike. At the TT. It's something that, do I dare say, I've ticked off's the wrong word, but it's an experience.
You wanted to do it, I get it.
Oh, but the local I think the local drug dealers are picking up on the radio here, driving by. But they have the bike that John owns and the arcade lot own is Hutchie's Milwaukee bike. When he was there in 2000 it was after COVID.
It's a proper piece of kit, isn't it?
It's super swinging arm. It's got the full front end. The full Brembo brakes, everything on that side of things. But to have that experience was mind blowing because the bike wasn't an animal.
You didn't get onto that
because it wasn't full motor like what Christian's riding on that side of things. You know what I mean? It wasn't full whiskey. It wasn't in your hand. There was a lot of electronics on that side of things. But in my own personal experience, the bikes were too similar with massive differences.
Yeah. Well, isn't that not what they said about Toddy? I seen an interview with Plater and they said they basically made his superbike as close to his superstock bike as they possibly could for that reason, because it's not BSB spec and it was what he was racing there. So, I think that made sense.
I went with Hutchie, not the Milwaukee year, but I was over on the island, would have been the year 2 years before that, I think, and he raced a super stocker basically.
Yeah. So what they would be called hybrids in our game.
Yeah, Hutchie's always been open about that, though, hasn't he? And Hickey are quite open about, and Rutter have always said superbike's too much.
But
and what's too much? The rigidity.
Well, just more the setup,
the aggression.
Just know the more the setup. It's about getting the power down, but I definitely went in with the huge attitude of going
that's going to be quicker than that. Sort of
I had an open mind about it because I even spoke to the team about it. Going, well, what I'm hoping was the superbike would make me faster on the stock now because of the time restraints and limited laps, blah 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 blah. But I definitely proved that to myself that I was quicker on the stocker because we only got 4 laps on practice on it. I actually got 3rd quickest in the first night on it.
Yeah.
But then we essentially parked it, focused on the superbike, but then we didn't have enough time on it to get it.
So can I ask a different question? Same question, slightly different way. Do you think that ultimately you could go faster on the superbike that you had if you had a bit more time on it to iron out the differences?
100%. Now, the only reason...
That's kind of the answer I was hoping for.
No, but the thing is...
So that's why people still ride them.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Superbike lads, when you think about that top 5, you know what I mean? Dunlop does a lot of, he's ridden that Hawk bike for... he's been going there with a superbike for years. You know what I mean? You got Peter Hickman, superbike rider. Josh Brooks, superbike rider. Dean Harrison, superbike rider. David Todd's even had a couple of seasons at superbike. But even going back to your point, what they do, they've got a stock chassis and put a 7.2, which is a superbike engine around about nearly 240 brake horsepower, and put it in the chassis. And that's the same bike that he chased Glen Irwin round at the Northwest on. I think, in my opinion, especially, yet again, my opinion, in 10 years, I think 10 years ago, there was a massive difference between you needed a superbike to go around the TT circuit because the stocks weren't
different and the Northwestern is different.
Nah, but even the stock market, but you think you can go buy a stock bike now, like a Honda Fireblade or even a BM at 210 plus. 217 brake horsepower. And like, you think about the facts are remaining in the fact of the outright lap record is still today on a stock bike.
Yeah.
It
No, I get it. No, it is interesting.
At the end of the day, Josh, I'm a fat lumberjack. You know, I'm not a superbike rider. No, hold on. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. I haven't had a BSB season. Not ridden a superbike.
Yes.
That's the first time I've ridden a superbike.
Yeah.
I've never had,
that
I've never had a
was my
stock
question,
season.
really. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think it would make a difference? It sounds like it would. Like,
To someone like me, no. In my opinion, I should only get a superbike when I'm doing 133s. Because my ideals...
I don't think that's fair.
No, I think that's more than fair. Because, like, I think at the moment, this has been... What is in that drink? It's all pouring out tonight.
But the fact box of fucking tissues.
No, but like the
Pass
thing
me
is,
that whiskey.
but 130, unless I'm doing 133s, I don't need a superbike.
Yeah, but Michael Dunlop didn't do 133s when he first went there on a superbike. Like, it takes time to go build, doesn't it? And you've been doing that.
But based on what Hickey's done, the argument would be you don't need a superbike till you're 136.
But that's the thing.
You don't need.
The fact that he has a lap record on a stocker but still wants to ride a superbike means that there's time in it.
No, I'm not disputing that. But at the end of the day, I'm competing in the top 10s. But then there's a lot to be said about consistency, and I'm talking about environment. I've never done a stock 1000 season, and like the only time I've ever ridden 1000 cc's, and this is a fact, is either in road racing. I haven't ridden one round Armoy. Southern, I haven't.
Will you be riding one at Armoy this year?
Yeah, with the Burrows team, so I'm looking forward to that.
You've ridden a ZX10 round the Southern.
I have.
Because I raced you.
There we are. Fuck yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but you did 130 mile an hour on the superbike though, didn't you?
No.
I thought you did.
No, because the first superbike race, the bike packed in, and then the bike packed in practice, and then the bike packed in the senior as well. So in the stock race, in the first lap, I sheared the exhaust pipe in half. The silencer on the back of my heel literally cracked it clean in half, sucked all the power out, and I did 130 point. Well, it was 0.6, I think.
I think you should take that as positive though.
But my ideals collectively, now ideals are a bullshit figure that everyone chases. You know what I mean? It's like, look what you could have won. It didn't happen. Fucking forget about it. But they're 132.
Yeah.
And you think,
can I just bring up a separate point, completely separate? But
go for it.
The one thing I really don't like about the TT is the fact they talk in miles per hour.
You've said this before.
Yeah.
Why would you want it in?
Time, like every other thing that we do.
Like, 17 minutes or 15 minutes or...
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, that would... Yeah, I get that. It would be easy. It would actually be a lot easier to follow.
I do not understand the whole...
Do you know the timing?
I don't get it.
The timing when you're watching it is so fucking difficult. Because you're like, oh, Dom's third. And then someone will go through and then you go down and then it moves because of everything. So you can't actually work out where everyone is. You're guessing it all the time. Fucking my little brain was doing so much trying to follow it, but it's still good.
But anyway, Dom Herbertson, the TT podium finisher.
All right, let's talk about that.
Nah, that was a long race. That.
Yeah.
No, it was like.
Did you start panicking when you were riding? Were you doing that thing where you listen to every little thing? Like,
I was going to say the twins, the worst ones.
I don't think. Listen, based on the feedback from last year, I promise you didn't do that. I bet you rode the fucking thing harder. You did, didn't you? Last year, you were leading the race last year. Yeah, there was a few people. And I was sitting there thinking, I wonder if he's just going to roll off now and get it home. And then the next thing, he fucking blew up and he's like, oh no, I just kept riding.
You've got, like,
but I get it, because also imagine if you lose your concentration when you're like, I get it. Makes sense.
But like, the thing is, you know what's mad? You know, we're talking about gifted's the wrong term, I suppose, it's going to be called this episode, but the gift.
The gift
but
that keeps on giving.
but the thing is, like, with that second race at the TT last year, it was just nuts. Hickman won it when arguably he shouldn't have won it that year. The bike was still underdeveloped and everything like that. But then you had, I'm trying to think, Michael Dunlop dropped out, Mike Brown dropped out, Jamie Coward dropped out, and I mean, people were getting skittled off like that.
Yeah.
Well, I led it for a bit. And then
but you still...
No, but you know that's the fun of the TT. Like, not fun, but that's the trial of the actual event. You know what I mean?
So... This year, then, the pattern.
What a bike!
Yeah, tell a little bit about that.
What a bike! You know what I mean? One of them's 80 grand. It's like 60, 80 grand. Like, so Graham Hanna, who owns the bike, but the thing is, I've never met Graham Hanna in my life. So he owns a company called IFS Logistics, who he actually sponsors TAS Racing. He's a massive race fan.
Yeah,
They used to do with the Lavities quite a lot.
Exactly, like a massive race fan. But I've never met the man in my life, right? Never met the man in my life.
And he thought, I know what I'll do. I'll give Dom Herbertson my fucking expensive pattern to ride.
But this is the interesting thing. He didn't give it to me. He gave it to John.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John and the lads. You know, that says a hell of a lot in my opinion. You know what I mean? The trust that Graham Hanna and John have built, like being friends over the years, that's hellish, isn't it? You know, when you think, I'm just going to give him... You've never met that bloke, but I'm going to give him your bike.
Yeah.
Because he did, like...
And you didn't ride it, because you didn't ride it anywhere else. I actually forgot about you riding a twin, to be honest, until you put a pole stand with that bike for the TT, because you hadn't been riding one. Obviously, we've been travelling together and doing a bit of stuff earlier in the year, and I just forgot that you had a twin, to be honest. So, and it obviously didn't affect you, not having a twin to ride earlier in the year.
It was probably one of the scariest things I've done, because I've always wanted to ride a pattern. And you know when you get on a bike going, do not be shit. I never meet your heroes, and I'm like, I hopped on this thing, aiming down Bray Hill going, do not be shit. Like, not me, like, dude, this bike.
What was its best attributes? What made it better?
Mate, everything. You know, like, you know that girl you used to fancy in high school, and you get her there, and you're like, yeah, this, and blows your mind.
Never happened.
Has it not? No. I went to an all boys school, so I was a bit weird. Anywho, so no, it's like, but you know what I'm getting at. You just think, do not, like, and honestly, I pointed it down Bray Hill, and it was just immediately. Like
they are the best bikes on that grid.
They're bespoke built bikes, you know what I mean? They're look, I'm sorry, but if you turn up on a pattern, you're gonna
you do alright.
But people have, you know, the top 10 for years has always been like, it's been flooded with, you know, with the bikes, but
because of that, I do think that another rider, but going off bit topic a little bit, I think Hickman's best race
was in the twins race. Same at the Northwest for Evo, that fucking twin unbelievable at the Northwest, I thought as well.
Because that bike shouldn't be.
Because he put that bike. It's not the smallest frame in the world.
Yeah.
But the mad thing is, you know, the actual physical build of that R7.
Sorry, I mean Hickman's not the smallest frame in the world.
No, you're talking about frames. You're bang on the money. Like when I pulled them apart, no, but like when you put the bikes next to each other, you should see the physical height in them. You know what I mean?
The pattern does look small.
The pattern is small. It's low, like honestly.
But you're only dinky, aren't you?
No, but like
you're wide, but you're dinky. I don't know if wide.
Thick set is what you're supposed to say.
I'm thick. All right, son. But it's like, but like the way you sit in the bike, it looks small, but when you're on it, your legs, you've got the comfort, you've got the room.
That's a nice fit.
Oh, it's a proper fit. The thing is, you're laying on the tank, but you haven't got pressure in your wrist. It's just everything. So you ride it, and you feel bad for lifting your head to brake.
Because it's just,
it is a proper GP. Like, you know, like I've been lucky enough to race a GP 250 around there, and it felt exact like it.
Did you have the Italians come and talk to you?
No.
So,
but now, to be fair, like the pattern, like there's only 5 of them, you know, that build these bikes in Italy.
Yeah.
Like in North Italy, like they're just sort of like a handful of orders. Literally, they can only.
Don't they order that they have to have a certain amount of orders before they build the batch of them, don't they? So there has to be like 12 bikes been ordered, and then they make the 12 bikes. So you could order one, but if nobody orders the other 11 for the next.
But they do have dealers of them though, because one of our Norton dealers is a Crazy Horse. They're a pattern dealer, and they've got a road going version of like a really trick one in there. And every time I go in and look at it, it's fucking beautiful.
But the secret of
in there, don't it?
It's yeah. But I don't know if that's like by design. Like I don't know if they have one like that for. I don't know if the shop own it maybe for like
twin racing is probably arguably the only. It's like a miniature superbike class. Because everything's bespoke on it. You can adjust things, airbox, but airbox pressure in a twin is phenomenal. You know who I'd love to ride one? Your mate, Matt Late. He is Mr. Super Twin, you know what I mean? His engineering, you know, any race man out there who likes working in the shed on their own bike would love to have a look at that pattern.
But do you think that class will turn into like the sport bike that we've got now, BSB? Because the twins, unfortunately, is probably, if you do it right, the most expensive class out there.
It is, but like
it'll become a more sport bike as opposed to twins, and it'll be horsepower cap and stuff.
It's mad, isn't it? Because that was always brought in as the affordable,
it was brought in as an affordable thing, and it is literally, if you want to
filter Moto 3 when 125s went to Moto 3 and stuff like that, same thing. But look, at the end of the day, it's all expensive, and especially you've always said this, and I've always hated you for it because you're fucking right. But I don't want you to be. But actually, trying to get a small bike to go quick.
I'm right.
Trying to get a small bike to go quick is expensive.
Nicola?
Most of the time.
Nicola actually told me that Christian does wear the trousers, but she says on what day and what kind of trousers. Anyway,
Yeah, pick that
yes,
up.
sorry. Yeah.
Now we're thinking about his pants here.
Yeah.
What conversation piece? But like you say, getting a small bike to go faster.
It's 100%. But more importantly, how did it feel? Like, how did it feel to pull into go down that road and turn right?
Mate, like I felt like Nick Lofthouse. Like Nick Lofthouse. Is it Nick? Nick Lofthouse. I'm looking at you, yeah. Max Lofthouse's dad, anyway. Ian. I think it might be Ian. Ian Lofthouse. This is terrible. I hope he's listening.
Sounds about right.
So anyway, he pulled in the Park Fermi, and they got it wrong, and had to get him wheeled out again.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? So when I pulled in the Park Fermi, normally I've seen enough on the telly to know what I'm looking for, and none of my team were there.
Oh, because they got it wrong.
No, not like, you know, when I pulled in, because when I came down off the mountain, so I got Gooseneck Helen from the North Yorkshire Road Racer Club, so she was out there with a pit board.
I was going to ask you who did a pit. Did you have a pit board?
And I saw like P3 plus it was +3. No, it wasn't actually. Sorry, it wasn't. It was +7. It was +7. I went, here we go, right champion. And I came off, and then we got Bisto, who works for the arcade team. What a lad he is. And I saw him stick a board out for me, P3 +3.5.
Oh, so you're thinking, fuck.
And there's me going, fuck. Like, because like, for me, I go through signport, it's always my weakest sector. And that's like coming off the line here, and I'm going,
but
like,
you don't want to fucking crash at that little stupid hairpin, do you?
Wait, you crash, run on, not brake enough. Bearing in mind, we're talking miles. Like run about 4 miles to the end here, and you've raced there yourself. It's a long way home, isn't it? And that long way home with that little bit of a knockoff is a second there. There's half a second. There's half a second.
When you seen 7 seconds, did you settle?
No. I saw 7. I just think
I'll just bring it home.
The thing is, like, when Hickman passed us, like, he never gave us a tour, but he was a hell of a rabbit. Because, like, in the first lap of that first race, I saw Davey, and I cut past Davey. Then I called Josh Brooks, went, oh, champion, there you go. So them two, and then when it came through, Hickman passed. But the pattern doesn't grunt off the bottom. It doesn't drive. But the way it holds 5th and 6th, I've never been on a twin in my life where it's pulled up the mountain mile. I mean, it just went, brrr, and I'm going, fuck, this thing is great, this. And then Hickman passed where, and he gapped where, straight coming out of Ramsey hairpin. And I went, all right, just get along with him. And I tell you what, he went through water. I went, what the have I got to do here? And I saw him slightly roll going in the joeys. And I just went, nah, bollocks to it. I booked a ticket to Valhalla. I'm going for it. So anyway, straight through. Oh, no. And he just kept at a perfect distance, thinking if I dropped him, I was out the race.
You would know, like, yeah.
So he didn't give us a tour because I didn't react quick enough.
Yeah. So you weren't.
That's that lack of short service.
But he dragged you. It's fair to say he dragged you.
He dragged, but I didn't get a tow. In my opinion, there's a difference. You know what I mean? But it's like having that rabbit chase. But then I saw it, like, and I saw the time just drop. And at this point, I'm thinking, Jamie Coward, Mike Brown, it could be absolutely, you know,
any of them.
But at this point, no one's dropping out. There's no bikes on the side of the road. No nothing. Normally, you can gauge coming onto the third lap going, you know exactly who's parked up, you know who's fucked, you know who's in, you know who's out. And I came over the line, none of my team were there, and I didn't even ask why, actually, you know what I mean? So I'm parked up there, and I just sat there like proper, like, you know, there's Dunlop and Hickman's lot going nuts, and I just sat there and everyone's going, Dom third, and I'm going, no, this is any second now. I'm just waiting for poor Phillips to tap me on the shoulder going, hope you enjoyed that for a couple of seconds, now piss off, you know what I mean? Honestly, I was expecting it but you know what was weird? But
obviously that didn't happen, right?
I was getting ready for the stock race. In my opinion, my 2 chances this year were in that stock 1000 race and the twin race, and immediately when I pulled in, I was thinking about the stock 1,000 race, which was coming up next.
Yeah.
So you
What
never
was the
really
time
enjoyed
difference?
it. You never took it all in because you were too busy thinking, "Fuck, I've got."
Well, no, you do, You've just got
preparation. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't go away, does it?
no.
Yeah,
You're just going right next, and then the team turn, and they're like getting your photo taken, and then like, oh, hi, champion, and then you're like, right, hi, and
Look a bit nervous, Dom. I wonder why.
It was no, it was nuts, man. It was like
Class. I think everyone was delighted for you. We were all delighted watching. And
But then it's mad. It's absolutely mad because it's like, no, I don't know what I get. It was class. It's just now you just think about the next bit, don't you?
now a podium's never good enough at last. You just still always think that in your head, wouldn't you?
I think even if you do, if you have a shit weekend or a great weekend, I think that feeling, and it's not being ungrateful or disrespectful. It's like you've got to be. I'm not sure if it's a humbling nature. I don't know. It's like it's a perfect twist on. You won the superbike race at Knock Hill. Are you still feeding off that? Are you? How quickly did that feeling come and go? Are you still riding the wave?
No, I don't know, to be fair.
See what I mean?
Yeah, but you'd be pissed off next week if you don't win one, wouldn't you? Is the point that we're making?
Oh no, but
Yeah, the goals change super quick, don't they?
Yeah.
so how quickly, that feeling of like, you're waving at your son, there's an you've won it in mental conditions, like absolutely mental conditions. You won the race, but how quickly did that feeling hang around with you?
Probably till the end of that night, I reckon.
It's
Until-
nuts. No.
until his bonus invoice got paid.
Ah, yeah, there is that.
It's not been paid yet. it's like winning twice.
We're about to have a real good day. When was the last time you won one before that?
1,057 days.
Not that you were counting or anything.
I looked it up. I was writing a column the other day, and I just thought, yeah. It's a bit like there's shit statistics like that though, aren't there? Because it's not 1,057 days of racing.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years away.
Yeah, but
2.5 years
it's funny
away.
you say that, right?
It's 26 race days.
Yeah. Statistics are
something,
bullshit, really. Like, I'm reading a book at the minute called Alchemy, and it's by quite a famous marketer who founded Ogilvy Marketing Agency. And some of the stuff that's in there is fucking brilliant about statistics. When you're statistics are right, but they're actually really dangerous because they don't always take into consideration like common sense.
Yeah.
Like, you've just said 1,000 days. Like, everyone would think you're a fucking loser.
Well,
It's not. It's 2 seasons. Like, that's nothing.
They do it on football, don't they? Like, only because the football's on at the moment, and they say, "Oh, such a team hasn't beaten the other one for the last 10 years." But they've played each other twice.
Yeah.
Or something. Do you know what I mean?
So you
So
can
it should be in the last 3 games they haven't won one.
You can manipulate statistics to give whatever signal you require, really, essentially.
But it was 1,050 summit day. 50. I think it was like 52 or 57. I can't remember.
I'm going to ask you a question, and this
Longer than I want it to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's for sure.
was that Alton Park Paul Bird?
It was Brands.
Brands.
At the end of the season?
Last round, wasn't it?
No, middle of the year.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
thought it was last round as well.
Well, maybe a Hobbit shit then.
We're going to tell everyone fast round.
You're shit.
But seriously, I'm going to ask you all a question though, and this is actually Chris's question. It's what do you remember more? Your first podium or your first win? What was a better feeling?
First win. Oh, I don't know, actually.
See, that's for me, like going back, like that
Don't know.
that
for
was
me, I
amazing.
don't
You know what I mean? It's like
Depends on the circumstances. To getting your first podiums in any like decent event is like good, but first time you win something, it's like really cool. The fucking McDonald's tastes better on the way home after the win.
I can't remember my first podium, so it has to be my first win for that. But the other day, before we go on to Joe, was literally probably my best moment in racing because it was Father's Day and Toby was there.
Oh, that's class.
And honestly, it was mint. So
Change your stuff when you got kids, doesn't it? Check like things like that.
what about all the other dads? What about all the other dads? You selfish bastard.
Yeah, no.
Like I took my kids to Le Mans pre-test.
Yeah.
And it was just having them there was just something different. Because my eldest's now old enough to
get it.
She will remember it and she will get it, and it's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It
was just
it's
that's
something you
one of
can't.
my best days because
That's nice.
the,
That's
the,
really nice to
the
hear.
special thing was not really. Obviously, the win had to be there, but it was
Having your
people
family,
around me,
yeah.
having the family there still, and also because they were rushing off home because they went on holiday and I didn't. I had to go and stay and work there and coach people go around there. But it was like I wasn't sure if they were still going to be there after the race,
Really?
Yeah, the missus did say, "Oh, we'll stick around if you crash or win or do well."
We'll risk missing the flights.
She's in the car looking at TSL. Oh,
Yeah.
bollocks, he's doing well, yeah.
And so I actually wasn't sure when I pulled in, like whether they were going to be there. And actually, at first, I didn't see them, so I thought, oh, they must have gone, which I don't mind. It's hard to get out of circuits in it, so they do sometimes leave before the end of the race.
And they come running back.
And then I looked again, they still weren't there, so I was like, oh, definitely gone. And I was a bit dejected, but it was fine. I did understand, but then it was like, then I seen him, I was like, oh, mint, and it was so good.
I tell you
It
what,
was just mint. So what made it was having like my little boy waving at me.
Yeah, which is
cool.
class, yeah.
So when you got knocked off, what was he doing then? Was he sticking his fingers up at Vickers?
I know, he was just still waved at him, totally.
This is how you do it, son. No, but let's talk about that. The fact that you got knocked off, and then to actually re-put yourself in that mind frame. How was the bike feeling before? Could you won that race? The one you got knocked off.
I couldn't. So the weekend was. This year's been really good.
You've
been strong all year.
I had a good first round. I was basically the first non-Yamaha. It had that was a good round. 3 podiums at Alton, and then I spanned myself at Donington. Had a pretty big high side out of Old Hairpin.
We have
I've
missed
never
a
really
lot,
heard him complain before, and he was complaining.
Yeah, well, it hurt, and it's still hurting me now, and that's annoying because it's quite a long time ago.
Was you knocked out?
I don't know.
I think you were knocked out.
No, I don't think he was. I seen him.
You're not allowed to ride if you're knocked out.
No, well, that was why I was surprised.
It did look like it. But
I ragdolled a bit funny.
Yeah.
But I can't have been because you're not allowed. So the medics are there within a split second, and if they see that you're KO'd, then you can't ride. So
and
definitely I wasn't.
Your head had a shake, hadn't it?
Yeah.
But the lights hadn't been turned off completely.
Don't think so.
No, in afterwards, when I seen you afterwards, I spent a couple of hours with you afterwards, and you seemed sore, but you were totally there. You were totally fine.
I tell you what, the perfect example of that was Rory Skinner. We're talking about getting knocked out on concussions, you know what I mean? Because Rory Skinner, using that for an example, where did he, his helmet came off at Alton Park. What the because we had Steve Plater on the show at that point, didn't we? And we're talking about, what the hell is he going to do? And, on a total different side note, he's Rory Skinner's back, and he was back at Knockhill wearing the Bell lid, so he's got a lot of faith in the product on that side of things.
It is a very freak accident. His lid was done up. His lid was done up, and that it's difficult to say. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, it's because he's got too much hair and all this crap."
You wouldn't say that to a woman, would you? No, I'm not being that being said. A lot of women wear big hair.
It can happen, and it doesn't happen very often, and it hasn't happened very often. He was you could say he was very unlucky, but he was also very lucky at the same time. So
he was on the grass.
He was just, but you would say that if he didn't go on the grass and didn't crash that, a bike wouldn't have hit him and he wouldn't have lost the lid. Do you know what I mean? So that you can look at it 2 ways, can't you? Fuck me, he's unlucky that happened. Like you say, he's very lucky he didn't get hurt. So, but what you're referring to about him at Donington, I don't think I've ever known that before, and fair play for someone, because he went out in first practice.
He withdrew himself from the meeting, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was quick as well. That was the thing.
He was the pace. He was on the pace. He was
I think he finished 6th or something in that session.
Yeah, top 6 for sure. But fair play to him, because lots of people would be worried about their seat or worried about lots of things, lots of in the grand scheme of things, trivial things, but at the time you don't think about it, and it's so important to you. And I just think it's a dangerous sport, and for him to turn around and do that, massive
yeah, I've got
respect.
credit for him. We was there speaking to him, weren't we? And he just said he was able to do the times, but he didn't really know how or what he was doing.
A step behind the bike all the time.
Everything's just happened too quickly, and I don't. When it's been and happened, I don't know that it's been and happened.
So it's quite impressive for him to withdraw himself from a meeting.
But I think it's credit to not taking anything away from Rory, because I agree 100%. But it's also a credit to Taz. For that. They've been around the game long enough to be able to say, we respect that. And when Steve came and spoke to us and did that pod, he said, didn't he? He said, it is what it is. We're not. There's no pressure on him. If he can't ride and he's not fit to ride, he needs to make that call, and we trust him.
But then using that as a clean example between you got knocked off and it looked like you had a serious head knock, but the fact that the medical staff have to be that on the ball. And you felt well enough to get back. How you got back on the bike after that? You went straight on the next session. Is that right?
No, so I crashed on the Saturday race.
That's right. Yeah.
And
can you remember any of it?
Yeah, he wasn't. Wasn't knocked out.
No, not from that. But it's the fact that like it was one of them.
It was just a big long slide, and to be fair, I got to the point where I thought I'd saved it, and then it just flicked a bit funny.
The snap on that.
It went
was
real
phenomenal.
funny, and I really hurt my ankle, and I really hurt my shoulder was one I was worried about, and my shoulder felt exactly like what I'd done 2 years previously on my other side, and so I was really worried and that was a really long rehab on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turned out I was just being a wuss. I was absolutely fine.
What's still causing you aggro now? Your shoulder or your ankle?
Both.
Are they?
Yeah, honestly, they're both.
You're getting
really
old, mate.
bad.
You're in your 50s now. It's fucking. You don't bounce as well, do you?
You know what it is? I can't remember what I came over for.
You're a bad man,
or whatever. And you like a week
that
later,
down,
and he sat on the sofa watching MotoGP. MotoGP was on, wasn't it? And he sat on the sofa, Toby and the dog, foot up and all, like looking real sore. And he's like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And I'm sure he was hoping I would have said fucking no. And I was like, "Yeah." And he like come hobbling in with 2 cups of tea and also fair play for the commitment.
It hurt. But then
I
I genuinely wasn't sure if I was going to race the following day. I did warm up and I really struggled. It was difficult.
I bet it was.
But then the first race was just a sprint race, and I was starting from pole. But actually, I was worried about that because I didn't want to be starting from pole. The worst bit of the track for me was the top of Craner turning left. So I basically couldn't turn left. Instead of pushing, you push the bar, don't you? But I couldn't push the bar. So instead I had to like chop the throttle really hard. So I fell to the inside of the bike to get that change of direction.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've never been fast through the speed trap. There's a speed trap down the middle of Craner. And I was quickest in both the races on Sunday through the speed
by
trap.
shutting the throttle?
Because what I was doing was having to be so slow at the top to change direction that I was then driving really hard through it. Whereas normally you'd sort of carry the roll speed and you'd carry flow through, but instead I was having to accelerate and drive through it.
So it's funny because
Wilf must be looking at that going, well, what's the matter with you?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I watched on the Saturday or the Sunday? Saturday.
Sunday was when I raced injured. Saturday's when I crashed.
Might even have been the Friday practice. Anyway, I watched one of the days from that left-hander on Craner from the outside, from the outfield.
Yeah.
Went to just see a mate of mine who was over, Steve-O. Shout out to him because he listens to all of these, loves them.
Shout out
He comes over just for the TT every year, like religiously. So yeah, always go and meet up with Steve-O. And Glenn does that. Glenn's the only other person. He shuts off to change direction in the left.
Full
you know, like because normally, you like you say, you roll down there, don't you? And it's whoa. Glenn's a full but. And I remember thinking, fucking, that's a weird way of doing it. So it must have been before you crashed, because I was watching everyone coming through, thinking, that's bizarre. But that's exactly how he gets the catty to turn, obviously. And so then when you've said that about speed traps, obviously it does work with the bike.
Yeah, it obviously worked. But I think I was definitely, I know I was slower. Like, our goal for that Sunday was basically to score points. We were like, right, what's the realistic goal of this? And I said, the absolute goal was top 10, but the realistic thing was score points. So we achieved more than that, so it was all right.
So after Donington, where were you in the championship at that point?
I think I dropped to 5th or 6th or something.
Right, so, and hold on, what, like, do I dare say it, like, showdown's a bit of a swear word in this show, but...
Well, it isn't really a showdown.
No, it's not anymore now.
It's a points ramp up, innit?
Yeah.
A points ramp up, so you're sitting 6th in the championship.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
And tonight, on the points ramp up.
So you've gone up the Knock Hill. Let's put a percentage on you. 100% being, I'm fucking ready for this, let's bite the screen, I'm in ideal condition. What number would you have given yourself leading in the Knock Hill?
To be fair, I was pretty good. I wasn't worried about my ankle.
That's our percentage, mate. Give me a number.
I was 90%, but anything over 70 is fine. So,
like,
I don't think you're never 100%, are you?
No one's ever 100%. Anything over 70 is fine.
That's a t-shirt, the Christian Iddon range. You know what I mean? I'm 90, but 70's good.
Anything over 70's good.
What I would say, you made less of a fucking deal about it than your teammate who fell out of his caravan. You'd have thought he'd have jumped off a fucking skyscraper the way he was going on.
We were laughing in the team because we kept every time we did an interview, we were going, no, he's going to bring up the caravan. So Ben at Knock Hill on the Saturday night manages to roll his ankle stepping out of his caravan.
Which we all know does hurt, in all fairness.
Yeah, oh no, and it's black as black. Like he's properly sprained it, like it was bad. But it's just...
You would have come up with a different line.
Made a new story up. We were like going, come on, man. At least call it an RV and it's so big it was a big fall. Like whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like whatever you do.
Brilliant.
Come on, Ben.
You could even get a sponsorship shout out there, like, I fell out my camper hire RV,
exactly.
you know what I mean, or something like that. You know what I mean? That is amazing. That is amazing.
But I went to Knockhill fine. I knew it was gonna be fine, but I had the worst start to the weekend ever. I didn't get into Q2 straight away in the first practice, then it rained in the second one. So I knew I wasn't through to the 2-stage qualifying. But I was really fucked off with the first practice. It was just horrendous. We got a few things wrong. And then the second one, I was like, it's all right, I'm really good around here in the wet, and the Ducati's mint round there. I'll be in the top 3 in the wet. And I was, in the afternoon, I think I was 9th, and it was a really hard 9th. And when you're like, do you know,
it's not coming as easy as I
it wasn't coming easy at all. I was on the limit that I want to be on to be 9th in FP2. I was really struggling. Got no better in FP3 really, which was dry, I think. And then in Q1, only the top 3 go through, and I passed my pit board P3 basically with 30 seconds to go in the session. And I came in and I sat down in my chair, and Franco Born had gone quicker than us, and I was knocked out of qualifying. And you just look at a screen like, that's not a situation that you can be in my position. Like, that's not okay. And you're just like, oh my God, like what's that going to be? 16th on the grid. And you're just thinking, already, man, like. But Franco got his time deleted for track limits, and I feel a bit sorry for him because he beat me. And the rules are the rules, but he did beat me. He went faster than us, so I feel a bit sorry for him.
How much did you actually see the footage off the track limit?
Yeah, he ran.
But are we talking like?
No, he took a fair bit of pit lane out of the job.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
No, I'm just asking. No, at the end of the day, no, I know what you mean about he was faster in the way. At that point, he was faster. But it's interesting to see.
I think that session was dry. I think,
but it's quite strict at Knockhill for the pit.
They're really strict
because the way you come on the.
I mean, he took the piss, but I still felt sorry for him.
Yeah, no, there you are.
So it was basically how I looked at it. but yeah, got through, and it was that next qualifying where we found a bit of form. So we changed the bike a little bit, and I just got my head in gear, and then actually
was it the bike change or a bit of both?
Bit of both.
What have you changed this year? Because this year you are different.
The electronics.
Everything seems different.
It's the electronics.
Do you think you're happy
He's knocked the
in
kid
the
out.
Team as well, though? Do you reckon everyone's just settled in a little bit more?
I think when things are going better, then
everyone's
in a better mood.
I think everyone's the same person, and I think
But you've come out the gates better, haven't you?
Just the bike's easier to ride. Genuinely, I'm the same person. I'm not I've ridden that.
You said that from
bike.
The first test, didn't you?
I've ridden that bike as in the Ducati, and it's not really changed for before, and had good success.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think you've got to shout out to John Burrows for booking that Kirkson track day that you didn't pull in for 45-minute sessions all day. I think there's another shout out for John Burrows there. There you are, good lad.
But then the afternoon it was a dry-ish track, and you're like, I think I was 5th or 6th or something, and then I got took out, and you're just like, this is not my weekend at all. I was just over it by Saturday afternoon. You get wiped out and 2 DNFs in the year. I'm like, fuck. Then fast forward to Sunday, and it was Father's Day, and honestly, if I was any day that I thought I was going to win a race, it would not have been that day because of the weekend we'd had. Yeah, I would have bet my mortgage, and
you were ready to write the weekend off this is just my shit.
It off, but as in
you're not on the pace to win.
I'm not on the pace to win it. Yeah. It's not going. I don't believe in luck, but I do believe in fortune and how it wasn't putting myself in the right place, and just it wasn't going right. Honestly, and then in the first race, I just felt good on the bike in the wet, and then I got up to second, and Rory won the race. It was his first BSB race, which was mega. So fair play to Rory. We've just been talking about him. So yeah, big kudos to Rory.
Had he never won a race before?
No,
he's been on the podium there with the FS3 lads, but home soil in the rain,
class fair play.
In a race. It was just everything Scottish that day. It was just ideal.
But I've followed him about 3 or 4 years ago. Probably that race that he got on the podium, and I just love following him, especially around there, because he's just got his little groove, and he knows so consistent. I was like, right, I'm just going to sit behind Rory because he's going to just pull us away and just like, that'll be mint. So I did. And then it got to 6 or 7 laps ago. I thought, right, we'll have a go.
Like you do.
And then just at the point where you think, and that's not to say I would have beaten, by the way, but just at the point where you think, right, let's have a bit of a dig to finish the race off. I lost my back shifts and ran on pretty hard at the hairpin. And so I then had to start to blip down box, and because it was so wet, I was like so scared of tucking the front.
Oh, because you're doing this.
Because you like being so inconsistent with your brakes. I then lost my upshifts. So I was having to like roll super hard.
CB500 style.
Yeah, and I was trying to work. I'm like, oh my god, like it's definitely not your weekend. I was in a surefire podium position. I thought I'm not even gonna finish the race. Then it starts to miss, so like the engine starts to go. But I'm like, oh man, you are joking me. And literally, I beat Bridewell to second across the line. If the finish line was on the
higher up,
because there's 2 finish lines, and I would have been third, but at least would have still been on the box.
Yeah, because even on the TV, you were behind him at the
by
the second one.
By the time you get seen,
because I think that caused a bit of confusion in the commentary because they were like, it looked like it was Bridewell, but yeah. So that's where they went off. It's the
first one,
which is like the last row of the grid, isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then the last race it came together. So
yeah,
I just love. I genuinely love hearing that like reaction of like normally I woke up and I knew I was going to win it on that day. This is the opposite end of that story.
It was a shit show from the workout. Fighting your way through everything.
It was an absolute disaster that weekend was until Sunday.
Brilliant.
But it does show in sport things can turn on their head so quick.
Yeah, you're quite mentally strong with stuff like that, aren't you? Though that you look at it like very objectively. I think. Do you know, like most, you look at things very factually like that, so you'll just go, well, I've done that, so we need to do this, and then you like attack it in a very
the facts
pragmatic
of that
way.
morning were, we'd not really had the pace, we've not got the best grid position, like you actually just look at it in hard facts, to be fair.
Yeah, but even in like a race, like you could go out in that race, you start at 16th, but if you get a good few laps and you're there, you're like, all right, okay, the goal's there, like you can adapt to that quite good. You've got the experience, I think. Like I noticed that
I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
Come on, Christian, don't stop being so sensitive about it.
You're the one going grey.
I'm fucking riddling with them.
Girls.
You didn't arrive in time.
By the way, anyone watching the video, this isn't grey. This is the back end of me holding on to my youth, because at the start of every year I have highlights.
Like you're in E17.
Exactly. So they're just growing out right now.
Oh, you actually have them done?
I don't think you can make a comment about my grades.
You can't take the piss out of me for anything ever again. You get your fucking hair highlighted.
His wife is a hairdresser.
My wife's
It doesn't
hairdresser.
matter.
I don't have my hair cut. Shut up, Dom. He has highlights.
But his wife loves him. Sorry.
I thought you don't dye the grey bits in, then you don't.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, individually, Josh. I sit there and I think I want to look more.
Look, Josh is sat up now. Here comes all the Tim Burton the next comments.
Yeah,
get the ready for him.
He's ready for him.
That's it. I've been bottling this up for ages. But I tell you what, bastards, perfect that we're picking on you, because now you're a proper bloke. You're a real man. You're a road racer.
Put your big boy pants on.
The big boy pants have been firmly wedged on. Out of boy, because I tell you what, it's mad. We're sitting here for like a
with
bit
some
of a catch-up.
stylish Burton shorts over the top of the big boy pants.
Naturally.
They're from Next. In Harrogate, because it was fucking roasting.
We can't afford Next, mate. You made that downtrodden. But but seriously,
I'm waiting for my bonus payment to come in. Then I might see if he'll take me.
Next pretty cheap, isn't it?
Class. But seriously, we were talking about like last time we all sat down properly talking. It was all about like our plans and how you were going to be going straight into. Your first road race was Oliver's Mount.
It was.
Let's go back to the beginning of that. Did it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Did it live up to the expectation of becoming a road racer?
But I think as well, that wasn't just your first road race. That was your first race back in a while, wasn't it?
Shit the bed.
No, I did a race in. So we did that test day thing that went
with
on
Burrows,
the track day thing, and then I went back over and did a Ulster Superbike round, and it pissed down.
But you won.
I didn't.
He didn't. He crashed.
I say put it in the fence, didn't you?
Oh yeah. But it was as good as a win. You got the podium.
I was going well. Let's just say it. I would have been on the podium.
You were doing so well. I thought you won.
Yeah. Thanks.
But the truth is,
he's trying to get
laid out now.
He's trying to redeem himself now. After
no, honestly, I...
No, to be fair, it was that actually was a bit of an eye opener, because it was wet and I'd only done that one jack day on that bike. It was good to go over there. The lads kind of like pulled the stops out to get us across there to do that race before Scarborough, because they wanted us to do another race, which was really nice of them.
Parker Transport Race.
Yeah. Jerry Parker and his crew that he's put together. and it was great. Had a really good time. I just struggled a little bit with like going back into a race. It was weird. You sort of have expectations. Then I thought, I don't want to crash. I don't want to do anything stupid. Like, we're not really here for that. And then I went, I think we only had like 4 laps of qualifying, like, because it was a 1-day meeting and it rained and then it was delayed and so on and so forth. And I think I qualified 6th or something. That, and I just thought, well, that's shit. So then you just like get the red mist, and then I got a fucking horrendous start in the first race and just went like completely backwards. And it took us the whole 12-lap race or whatever it was to just get back used to racing again. And I made me a bit forward and finished about 8th or something like that. And then we made a couple of little changes, made the bike a lot easier to ride. And I had like a fantastic second race, and was 4th. Set the second fastest lap of the race. Corey McGreevy was there, and by all accounts did a bit of research, and a few people mentioned the lap times were like really, really strong for the conditions and stuff like that. So I was delighted with that, and was picking people off and just could see a podium basically on the last lap and fucking launched it. And do you know the mechanic as well, Nigel? Right?
What a lad.
That's when Christian went out for a pedal. He went, hey, he's doing good enough, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to have to do the coast to coast.
It's funny because
You're going to win that.
the lads were stood on the pit. The lads were stood on the pit wall. My dad came over with us, and he said everyone literally was like, "Oh yeah, 4th. That was like a really good ride. Like second fastest lap of the race. That's brilliant." And then literally like, all clapping, and then turned around and walked away. It was the last lap, and then I didn't come back round.
Even better.
Oh, I got some fucks fired into us for that. Honestly, like, you really did not need to do that. But Jerry was delighted, but Nigel, who's like the mechanic, was fucking raging. But he calmed down afterwards, and he was like, "Oh, you rode well." But yeah, I didn't need to. But just a silly little mistake. But it was good actually to have a little tip off essentially, because it just gives you a bit of reality check and just know to calm down. So then went straight to Scarborough.
Before you go into that, I want to talk about rust. And you know how everyone stays off a bike for a while and they feel rusty. Now we talk about having the winter, you know what I mean? You're out of rhythm, you're out of sorts. So before you went to that Kirkstone race meeting, not track days, because anyone can do track days and you get your own, but a race meeting's totally different. How long ago was it you did a race meeting before you did that first round?
Last race meeting was 2019 on a Motor 3 at Donington. And I crashed there as well.
Yeah, right. So you're talking, there's a sizable gap there.
The last time I rode a 600 before that test was 10 years ago.
Okay, right. 10 years ago, you've hopped on this R6. At what point, before your first ever road race, did you feel like the rust got knocked off? Or are you still rusty now?
It didn't, yeah. I would say it's still a bit rusty now. So, like, we've done quite a bit of riding, but you need consistency. So when we did that test, I was like really frustrated to the point that when we drove home, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to do this, because
that's what I was saying.
I just thought I just wasn't coming at all. Like, and then you were really helpful, and like following you guys around like was good. And you kind of calmed us down a little bit on the way home. You were like, just fucking give your head a wobble sort of thing. Like 10 years of not riding a 600 and you're like not far off at all. Like, don't worry about it sort of thing. So I was glad to go back to that next race meeting, and I left there with a load of confidence thinking, oh, I can do this, because I knew that if you can go and do those lap times, yes, I fell off. That's fine. I just tried a bit hard. First race back, I was trying way too hard. I didn't need to.
And
but it was enough. Like, it was a little confidence boost.
It could happen to the best of us, you know. It's
a little confidence boost. And then, to be honest, I didn't know anything about the setup of any road race. So what was weird about going to road races, I had no, like, I didn't know who I was racing against. I didn't know how quick I was going to be or not. So I had no expectation of where to be. All I was just nervous, like really nervous and anxious.
Did that not make you more relaxed because you weren't setting yourself goals?
Don't know. It was just out of your yes, in a way, but out of your control a little bit. So you said something about not looking at your times, and I do think that any newcomer to any roads, first day, they shouldn't be allowed a transponder.
No, they shouldn't be allowed a transponder. They should have a tracker.
Yeah,
but they shouldn't be. Well, it should be.
No times, yeah.
No, they have a transponder on for safety reasons where they're coming through, but it should not be on the timesheet.
Display zero.
No,
yeah.
it shouldn't be even. It shouldn't even like.
And I think that's smart, because it's the first thing you look at and you're like, okay, that felt a bit crazy. I'll be honest, you do the newcomers laps brilliant event. Andy Hayes really looked after us and stuff, and very grateful for getting the entry and stuff like that. But I did the first newcomers lap and I thought, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is ridiculous.
Is that what you thought?
I just thought, this could go wrong, like, so easy. And you just have to engage your brain in a totally different way that I just didn't know. I'd never experienced it before. I didn't honestly know how I was going to feel.
Was you looking at... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, no, I just find that really interesting. I'm going to fire that in, like, to you, Joe. It's the fact of, like, you've gone from a BSB background, a very successful BSB background, 10 years, you've come in, and your first initial thought there was, what am I doing here? I'm going to ask you, Joe, what was your first ever lap on a road race like? Just curious.
Mine was at the Southern.
Yep.
On a classic T500.
Jesus, right.
And I thought, this is fucking mega.
You see what I mean? No, but then, see, you haven't come, you had a fair British, background.
Did 5 years in the British Championship, yeah.
5 years, and it's interesting that. You know what I mean? That gap.
But this was the first laps behind someone else, when you're going really slow, and you can't see, and you don't know, and then, so basically, then you go out, you had like 3 laps or whatever, which basically might as well have been nothing. Because I actually knew where it went. I've been going to Scarborough for a lot of years and I've driven around it and I know where the circuit goes. But then what you can't understand is how narrow it is. That really fucks you.
I've been to watch it.
Yeah.
Have you?
It really, really, really fucked my head, for passing and stuff. Like, it's weird. And then you do like 4 laps of practice, 4 laps of qualifying or whatever. So by this time I think I had done less than 7 laps, right? And then you're going into a race. And I was riding round, feeling totally comfortable, but I get behind someone and couldn't pass them. I literally just could not get my brain into passing anyone. And because I thought would line a pass up how you would in a short circuit. And because it's so narrow, you'd wait for them to go right, for example, and you'd go across to the left. And before you know it, they're back across to the left. Because the track's 4 foot wide or whatever. Well, it's not 4 foot wide, but it's not far off.
It's not straight. That's what a lot of people don't think.
And you just go from like edge to edge. And even if you think, I want to open the throttle and go where your brain wants you to go, you can't, because you run out of road. And like, you just have to ride very differently. And it took a bit of constantly reminding myself to just like rein myself in. But then I don't know how it works, but I had to go out in a B race essentially. So there's like 2 groups.
Yeah.
But I've always said this, and this will really upset people, especially PSB riders and everyone else. In some roundabout way, roads is harder.
Definitely.
Because you can't go train on it. Oliver's Mount probably is a little bit of an exception because it's 4 meetings a year. But like Armoy, Cookstown, Tamworgate, everything, you get 10-minute. That is your practice, your qualifying, and
you don't get the time.
But that's when years become your ally. You need the experience. And
you could go to it like take 2 people on a short circuit, and one could be seconds faster than the other. And if they have experience of a road race, I don't think you'd be as quick. Like I don't think you can like surpass the experience like initially. Like there's the thing. So I didn't know the setup of the 2 things anyway. I was entered into this B race essentially, but I don't know. I think it goes on normally on your qualifying position.
But when you turned up, it was a spring cup. Now you can imagine everyone's in the winter going, I just want to ride my bike. It's like every track day, it's like March, it's like -2, and everyone's going, I just want to go on my bike.
Was there 3 grids of 600s? Yes. There was a C race as well, wasn't there?
Because
I'm sure there was.
They're not allowed to race 1,000 cc's around Scarborough, so the Premier class is the 600. So you can imagine everyone.
Well, anyway, however it worked, I ended up starting off third in this race, and all I kept thinking was, I fucking would like 6 laps on my own to know where this fucking thing goes. So
I'm going to drill him into turn 1.
Yeah, which is what I did. And I come round and had a fucking 8-second lead, and I was like, shit. But it was mint, because then I could just challenge myself to see how I could ride. And I went way quicker than I had done all, like 5, 6, 7 seconds a lap quicker. It was like ridiculous. And yeah, I won a race, which was really nice. And it wasn't the main race, but it was nice to win a race. Like the first road race you entered, you won it, which was nice.
Damn right.
And it was lovely for the lads as well, for the team, because they put a lot of effort in to get us over there. Like they come from Northern Ireland, it cost thousands of pounds for them to come across. And so I was really delighted with that. And it was just really nice, and it pushed us on really. So then, I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy passing people there. It was hard when you had to start racing people, but I just kept telling myself that actually just a bit of experience. Don't need to rush it.
Did you have a Joe Akroyd moment at Oliver's Mount? Fuck it, this is mega.
Oh yeah, 100%. That first lap of that race.
When you were on your own.
Yeah. And I enjoyed riding around before that. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It was honestly like learning to drive again. You're like, I really don't know what to do to be quick here, or like, am I going to be quick or not? I know I can ride, but like,
So before we go near Northwest, and you get a lot of short circuit riders. You know, this is fact. I think I'll have a go at roads. What would you say to them? Do it.
Yeah, do it. But do it with your eyes open. Do it with some work and want to be there, because
manage your expectations before you go there.
Yeah, they're not necessarily. They just
feel like I'm trying to scaremonger everyone up, but no,
I've done 3 road races this year, and they're all very different. Scarborough was very different to Cookstown, and very different to Northwest. And all anyone kept saying to me, anyone who says Northwest like a short circuit is full of fucking shit. It's nothing like a short circuit at all. It's just, that's bullshit. It's not. It's a full-on road race. It's nothing like a short circuit. But, you know, you have to do it because you want to do it. Like, Cookstown was a real eye-opener. You know, we're going out behind John Burrows. Basically, newcomers laps, go around a bus, and they go, can't really say too much. And they were fantastic. The guy, Barry, I forget his surname now. Davison.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And he gave some like really sound advice. He's like, I'm not going to tell you like bullshit that you'll figure out when you ride. But basically, when you go over this blind hill, you see that telegraph post, to the left of its track, to the right of its field, go left. Like,
it's right there.
Yeah, but like, it was good because they've got a lot of experience and they did a good job of all of that. But then you go out behind, like, I went out behind John. It was pissing down. I couldn't say a fucking thing. It was dirty, and he fucked off.
And John only rides twice a year.
Yeah, and he's on his stocker, and he fucked off.
And what did you think at that point?
I thought,
what am I doing?
Open the back of the van, boys. We're going home. we got there, and I'll have to tell this story because I wanted to punch him in the face. But we got there on the night. I went over with Dom. I got there on the wet Friday night or whatever, and he said, "I'll take you for a lap of the circuit." Pitch black. Can't say anything. He's fucking. Headlights are showing 3 feet in front of you, and he's going, so you'll clip this curb and then you'll be in this hedge and get your elbow in this hedge. I was like, Dom, just take us back to the paddock, mate, because I won't be clipping any fucking hedges or curbs. Let's just go to bed.
That's the fun of it.
But then
you're gonna clip something.
And to be fair, once I got over that initial like scare of, because I just felt like I had to go out and ride relatively, like I was trying to go steady because you can't gauge the grip. Do you know in the short circuit you can like gauge grip, and then you kind of in the back of your head, it's like, if you've got no points, you don't mind, you might get 3. But once you've got 3, you definitely don't speed. It was a bit like that. Whereas, like, I really, like, if I crash at Knock Hill, like, I'm not going to die. If I crash here, like, I definitely probably am. Like, it was just, and so I just couldn't get into my head to, like, work out how much grip there was in the wet, for example. And once you get over the fact that there's fucking cow shit and stones and leaves coming in your helmet, like just things you've never had to deal with before.
It's called atmosphere. So.
Yeah, it's just different. But we did them we did them horrible first laps, and I was like, that just felt a bit messy, just felt a bit all messy, and I didn't enjoy it so much. Then I went out on my own and loved it, and then I really did enjoy riding around there. It's like him and Sweeney were like doing different level stuff, but I had a couple of podiums there, to be fair, in the whatever races we were in, the
support.
The support races.
First time there, you get put in the support races.
Yeah, so like Kev Keys went, and he was kind of who in and around really, and had a couple of good battles with him, which was nice, and came away with 2 podiums, a bit of prize money and stuff, which was really nice, and I really enjoyed. And there was a moment when you like that you go up that back road and over the jumps past the farm, and it's you're like, fuck, this is cool. Like it is. I did not think that when I rode them, but you have to really want to be there, because you just think, why
it's
would
worth
you do it
getting
otherwise?
a divorce, Christian. I'm telling you now. You can share custody of Toby. You can share the dog.
Happy. She actually said, "Oh, now I've got Toby. It's all right."
It's all right. Yeah, she said that. Yeah.
When you come to cook, we're gonna have to sign him up. I'm sorry, I've seen him on a motorbike. He is built for this sport. He is built for this sport.
Then you've got the next thing, which is the Northwest, and to be honest, I was absolutely, from start to finish, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Blown away by the event, how it was organised and ran. I thought it was fucking phenomenal, to be honest. I thought it was excellent. I didn't have any complaints about anything to do with the event. I would like a garage next time, please, boys. Sitting on the side of it. I'll go a bit quicker. But it was fantastic. The newcomers thing was really good. They went into a lot of, even up to the event, they went into like a lot of, and I missed a lot of that stuff because I was late getting an entry and stuff. But they just really looked after us, made us feel very welcome, even to like, where's the toilets in the paddock? Like, you know, like simple things that you just need to know where shit is. And well, like if I was staying in a house at the back of the paddock, but you had to obviously ride around, and in just knowing like when the roads were going to close and all that stuff, it was like there's a lot of other things that you don't think of if you've never been before. So I was absolutely blown away with that. And then the first time I set off down the road, I just thought, this is mint. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I got a lot of help off a lot of people. And like I, in my head, broke the track up into black zones. So there was like areas where you were happy to ride harder, and then areas where you just weren't, I thought, which really helped to split it up. My biggest regret was, so the practice laps and everything were great. I got caught out on a few things like the length of it. You just, because it is a bit short circuit-esque in how the style of the event happens, you sort of just in that mindset. So like in qualifying, I'd planned to do like I think I'd said I was going to do 2 laps on, and then we're going to change tyres, which, to be fair, you could have left the same tyre in. It wouldn't have mattered to me. I wasn't on that level where a new tyre would have mattered. But that's what we'd agree to do, because you'd think, oh, I've only done like 6 laps, but it's 150 mile, like, and you need to put another one in. So I'd gone out and done like, and I had seen P18, and I was buzzing because I wanted to be in the first wave. I was like, I felt like I had the pace to qualify in the top 20. And that's where I should have been. And I fucking stayed out for another lap, and because I was enjoying it basically, and come in, and by the time I'd come in, it got red flagged. Everyone was in the pits when I was out, and then went quicker, and then yeah. So it was just stuff like that, like let down, like just. But when I talk about it after the event, I think actually I've just gained a load of experiences. All things what happened that were supposed to happen for you to learn. I had no real hairy moments. I didn't really have any real, like, everything was good. We had brilliant weather. I wouldn't have liked to have ridden around there in the wet. If it had been raining on the Saturday, I'd have been shitting myself, like, no doubt. But biggest regret, really, I did all of practice on my own, deliberately, because I was scared, essentially. Yeah. And I wanted to just do my own.
You're not scared, you're road racing, cautious. It's probably better.
Yeah, well, scared was the word.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, like I just wanted to do my own pace, not get sucked along, and get used to a few things. And then I went out on the first race on a Thursday night, and then all of a sudden you're in a group of 5 people, and you're going down that road, and it's the 4 abreast, and you're like, my bike was really quick, to be fair. I had a really, really good 600. Another mistake was I would have done another class. In hindsight, should have done a twin.
Right, for the track time.
Yeah, for the track time. But then that was a shock. So being in a bunch of people and racing, it was different. And the biggest thing that I couldn't get my head around was you're doing 170 odd mile an hour, and then you go into university and back that first gear, and you think you can get off the thing and run, and then all of a sudden you're like on that white line on the outside, not going to stop. And it was just stuff like that was weird. And like I ran on a few times and stuff like that, and I ran on the first lap on Saturday with a full tank of fuel, just little things. And I just can't explain it. I mean, it's class, and it just made us think I'd love to go and do a TT. Definitely want to ride around there at some point in my life, 100%. But I thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing. It was class. I absolutely loved it.
He's fucked if he goes there. He's never coming back. Is he? As in, you're never going to step away from it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You've gone the other side.
Yeah.
No, it was. I just enjoyed it. I'm not sure that I'll ever. I mean, if I look at some of the. I did look back through, not naming the names, but I did look back through some results of when people did their first Northwest event, and I was basically matching the same pace.
Right.
And they're 4-5 years down the journey and are running towards the front. So I felt happy. I felt like I was exactly where I should have been, really. I was disappointed with Thursday's race because I made a mistake and lost a load of positions on the last lap, which was fucking stupid. And then really did the same at the start of the race on Saturday, but was delighted to leave there with the top 20. I think P18 on your first time of asking, I was happy. So you always want more, but I was happy.
Fair play to you.
What are you doing the rest of the year though? Is that it, or are you?
Well, I think we're going to go to Armoy. Jerry and his squad have asked us to do that, and Bill Kennedy's kindly gave us an entry to that. So I should be over at Armoy, which would be brilliant. And I am working on something for the rest of the British Championship with a sponsor of mine who's keen to do something. We're just waiting on bike eligibility and stuff like that.
Super Sport.
Probably the sport bike class.
Oh yeah.
So the Parker team want to do the last 3 rounds of the British Championship. It's all budget dependent at the moment, so need some sponsorship really, basically need some additional budget to cover some additional costs essentially. Everyone knows British Championships full on. It's no joke, that class this year, is it? So I generally believe the bike's good enough to have a good showing on it. So they would like to do the last 3 rounds of that, which I would definitely still do with those guys. But there's another project as well, which is probably in the sport bike class, which would probably sort of Brands Hatch onwards, but it's all dependent on a lot of stuff. It could be a little bit later. It's actually just a really cool project that that I'm excited about and want to be involved in. So
exciting times ahead. Yeah. Exciting times ahead. But I tell you what, speaking of project, I think project's the wrong word. But like, Joe, let's go down this little avenue. You've gone from Le Mans, brace yourself, buckle in, grab a drink and listen. I'm telling you, because you went from one team to hopping on a Kawasaki for the first. Anyway, I'm spoiling the story here. Let's talk about your first
that was Le Mans. Le Mans was a bit mad, to be fair, but last time we spoke, I was going down to Pau, which is near Andorra. It's like south-west France. They've got a little track down there called Pau, and it's fucking mega, to be fair. It's very, very British, undulating. It's quite narrow.
I've seen some videos of it.
It looks good.
It's really...
Like Cadwell-y type.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit like Cadwell. It's
Knockhill in reverse,
similar,
doesn't it?
Similar,
like the first corner.
If Cadwell and Knockhill could root and have a baby, it would create Pau.
Root.
And so I flew down to Toulouse and went with my teammate Gabby, and he's got an old MILF of a ZX10, which is like it's like a 20, I want to say 2011, 2012, but it's got a superbike engine in it, but it's got no rider aids on it. It's just a bit of a handful,
but a cool practice
bike.
bike.
And so we just shared it. We shared the bike, and we had a 4-day test organised just to get back out. And Gabby sort of set me times where he said, really, this is where you need to be to sort of be respectful. And at the end of day 1, I was 2 seconds under it, and at the end of day 2, second session, I was under the 120s. And he'd said to me, if by the end of the 4 days you can get under a 20, he said, that's pretty good going on this bike. And I think I did like a 19.9 or something.
Good lad.
So that was good. And then him and Ludo, my other teammate, I drink a lot of water. And then boys were like, we ran out of water after day 3 or whatever. I said, we'll need to nip down to town and get some water. And they're like, no. Drink the tap water, because it's coming straight off the Pyrenees. It's fucking, you're drinking glacial water. And I'm like,
are you sure?
Number 1 rule when you go abroad,
never drink the water.
Do not drink the tap water. That's the number 1 rule, isn't it? Doesn't matter where in the world you go, don't drink the tap water. Everybody's like, no, we all drink the tap water. So I got stuck into it, and fucking about 2 a.m. on the last day, I wake up and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to spew or shit myself.
Or both.
And I've got a phobia of being sick. Cannot deal with spew. If I spew with my fingers in my ears and my eyes shut. It's pathetic, innit?
Shut up,
I can't do it. I cannot.
Hold on. Even like if we simulated that noise, would that freak you out?
No,
really?
just if
but
something physical came out, so I can't cope with that. So I did everything, fought it, but basically ended up really, really poorly on the last day. And then I had to get on a flight home, which I was panicking about. Shitting myself on the flight, but
did the Uber Eats do Imodium?
But so I came away from it fairly confident, because my position in the Metis team wasn't really confirmed. They changed the rules for World Endurance for stock teams, which is they can now run 4 riders in the race. So you always take 3 riders and a reserve, because that much goes into a race weekend that
every time you say that, I think of Christian. Remember turning up the Suzuki team, the official, just wanted to kick everyone else in like that.
Yeah, but it's frustrating, isn't it? It is frustrating.
Do you want some glacial water?
Yeah, there you go. A little trick. Get him drinking the tap water.
Joe, get us a bottle of that glacial water.
But at the end of last year, when
this comes straight out of the tap from Knockhill.
When I did that 4th rider job last year for Baldor, it was perfect, because I hadn't ridden in so long that it was the perfect introduction back into racing. But honestly, I've trained my ass off this winter. I've gone from 85 kilos to 78 kilos, and I'm conscious of what I'm eating. I'm not really drinking beer, although I've just drank 2 whiskies.
But I'm not. Spirit, it's fine.
It's clean, isn't it?
On the subject of that, this Heineken Zero is delightful.
It's all right.
Put that down. They're not putting any money in.
If you want to sponsor Heineken,
will you pass me a can of that Gorilla? Pass me a can of that Gorilla. I'll drink a can of that
you
Gorilla.
Get one of them down your son. There you go.
Alan, if you want to sponsor me. Yeah, so the 4th rider thing was all right for me at the end of last year. But to be honest, going into this season, I wasn't sure what my role was going to be at Metis, and they changed the rules for stock to run 4 in a race, and it was unclear as well if the experimental class that Bennetts goes into, whether or not they were going to let them run 4 riders, because all the other comparable regulations between the experimental class that Bennetts is in and Superbike and Super Stock, it's with Super Stock.
Yeah.
So you would think, okay,
is it?
yeah. So it's qualified to a Super Stock time, and any other transferable regulations are the stock rules. So you would think the rider situation would be the same. And the FIM basically wrote an email back saying, in as bluntly as I can put it, and I'm not quoting them, but you're fucking lucky that we're even giving you a space on the grid, because there's only 4 experimental bikes. So shut the fuck up and do as you're told, basically. Not as bluntly as that.
It's 3.
It's 3. So I wasn't really aware of this until after the protest, and the conversations have been from the boss.
Yeah.
Times are good. No final ride decisions have been made. So I'm still thinking, all right, okay, well, if they run 4, at least I know that I'm not far off the pace. And if they run 3, then it's always going to be Ludo and Gabby, because they've been there a long time and they're fucking fast, proven lads. That 3rd seat's what I'm fighting for. Then we went to the pre-test, the Primon test, which is 3 weeks before the Le Mans race.
Yeah.
And they'd got a lad called Max Schmidt, who, I'll be honest, I wanted to dislike him, because I thought,
I don't like him already. I don't know
he's
where
the
you're going
lad
with
that
this.
I've got to potentially compete with for my seat. You know, he's 21, he's German. I don't want to like the lad, and he was fucking lovely.
Yeah.
Just a really, really nice lad, and his dad's fucking lovely. And I was
Drink this water, you little bastard.
Yeah. And fuck me, he was fast. He was fucking fast, really, really quick. But you spoke about crashing at like the first crash you'd had in a while. So it was a 2-day test, and there wasn't all the team members there, so we were sort of not understaffed. We had a few of the main guys there, but not everybody was there. So it was a little bit kind of frantic, and it pissed it down on the morning of the second day, and I thought, do you know what? I'd had a half-decent day the day before. I thought, fuck it, I hadn't had a rip round on a big bike in the wet, on proper wets for a while, and Pirellis, you know, so I'm fucking, yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to have a do.
You're ready to flex, weren't you?
I don't know if flex was the right word, but
He was ready to flex.
Ready to flex.
He was ready to
I'm
flex.
British. Here comes the rain.
Yeah.
and that's what they were all doing. Oh, the Englishman will be, he'll be all right.
In
Yeah.
the war.
We did it in the war.
Do you know what? There was a lot of,
Beat him in the war, can beat him in the test.
there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of war talk as well, to be fair.
That's going to get ripped off YouTube for that comment, isn't it?
Grace is going to cut that out and just put it straight in there.
So they sent Max out. They said, right, you go out first, and because you haven't ridden the bike, I'd ridden it at Baldor. Max, you go out, and Max did an outlap and then crashed at the first chicane.
And they went, come on, Joe Churchill.
No, but fucking Churchill had already smoked in there. I'll ride it. I'll fucking ride it. It's no bother. And I did.
That was fucking brilliant.
I did 4 laps, and on my dash, I was already well under what Max had done. And you done Le Mans, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you know the back chicane.
Mhm.
I came through the left, came through the right, and I just, as I touched the throttle, it came right round on me. And you know when it's almost then like slow-mo, and it just fucking fired me straight up in the air. And I came down, you know, and you're thinking, the bike, the fucking helmet, the leathers, you still haven't hit the gravel at this point, have you? You're thinking about everything that's already written off.
You've got the checklist.
And then I've rolled, then I've seen the bike go over the fucking top of me. I'm like, oh my God. And then, do you remember your Brands crash last year when you said you just wish they'd put a blanket over you and just left you for a bit? I had that, but I'd landed on my hands and knees and I fucking stayed there. I thought, God, that hurt. Fucking hell, that hurt. And I had a minute, and they'd already got the bike up and wheeled it off before I got up onto my feet.
What, the team jumped the barrier in?
Fucking hell.
Akroyd, Churchill.
Did I show you a picture? Did I show you a picture of the bruise afterwards? I'll show them.
Oh, yeah, you did, yeah.
Fucking savage.
You have to send this to Grace. You know that, don't you? It's scored on.
Did anyone get any photos of it?
That,
Oh, nice.
that was my ass.
Let's have a
after the
look.
crash.
Bruise.
Yeah.
Did anyone get any
Peachy.
photos of your crash?
No.
That's always worse, to rub salt in the wounds. I got a full, from start to finish, sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Sent
frames.
If it's a good one, because yours was a bit lame.
It was
If it's a
lame.
good crash,
Thanks,
like,
dickhead.
Joe's sounds massive.
It was.
Yeah.
So actually, sometimes you want a bit of a sequence.
But do you know what? There was a weird thing about it afterwards where I kind of,
in a bit of a sadistic way, you kind of like.
well, you want summer.
To be fair, mine proves that I hung on to it and I thought it straight to the team order, and I was like, I told you I hung on to it. I promise I didn't.
It's nice to have something to show for the pain you've gone through, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, the king of crashing is Christian Iddon. Every crash he's ever done, he has held on to it at the bitter. I remember that poor bird crash. Honestly, I don't know where it was. I think it was down Crane or something like that.
I did one down Crane and held it the
and he
whole
literally,
way.
this bike should have flipped 4 times, and Christian's went, no, no doubt. And I'm watching this going, they want to replay that again and again, and every rider training.
And he should have a bonus for saving all the fucking
Yeah,
bags.
the amount of times I get asked, why do you hold on to it? And the genuine answer is, I do not know.
Nah, it's
Sometimes
instinct.
you don't mean to, do you?
I don't mean
it's like a self-preservation thing. You think, this is going to save us.
Every crash I've ever had, I've held on.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold on to this fucking thing. There was no hope of holding on to that bastard.
The ones
Where's the eject button?
I'd already hit it.
The ones over the top, they're not hold on to ontoable, are they?
But in a weird, sadistic sort of way, I was kind of glad that I'd had it because it's the first big one I've had since I broke my back.
Yeah, you need to take it
And
off.
I just sort of needed it to kind of go.
You didn't have the high side, though. You could have just took the front or something.
But a big the thing is, you need that confidence that you're not made of glass. It was like Lee Johnson on his vlogs, when he obviously went through the crash at the Northwest, and he had a crash out in, not the one he damaged his leg, but it was out in Spain, I believe. He had a crash, and it was first thing he was actually saying to his own camera was going, it's actually kind of a good thing, because you remind yourself you're not made of glass.
It's a really weird feeling, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? You get up and you're like, champion. You know what I mean?
I'm always paranoid about my back as well, and I'm paranoid about eyesight. And I'm not saying
why you're made of scaffolding. Why you're indestructible.
It's just something that there's no metalwork in there now, thank God. So to be honest with you, I'm 10 times better for it. But it was sort of one of them that after I dusted myself off and got up, I thought, it's all right. You're all right. And
did your airbag go off?
Yeah, it did nothing down there, but it's on your hips, innit? Your airbag's good for protecting your vital organs.
I've crashed 4 times in my suit this year, and the airbag hasn't gone off. And basically,
you're not doing it good enough.
Yes, that's basically the crack.
It's like falling over in a paddock.
That's the new thing. It doesn't count as a crash. You haven't crashed this year.
The airbag hasn't gone off 3-4 times, and I was like, but apparently not good enough. Yeah.
Do you know what
I need to borrow a suit though because mine's got a fucking hole in it now.
that Bennetts, I was dead impressed with how well it crashed, considering it had been through and cartwheeled. Done a screen and the bars had folded in. It wasn't bad at all.
I mean, there was one fork leg missing, but
it was like when I wheeled it out.
We went, oh shit, the front end.
But the marshal got a shock and they picked it up and they think, just pick this up from the back. Oh no, this is the front.
Marshall nearly crashed it again because it's got no lock on it, so he nearly crashed it again trying to get it behind the barrier. But it was good. It was sound, and we sort of all came away from there happy, really. But I still wasn't clear on my position really until the start of Le Mans race weekend. That was when it became apparent because I just had to.
So you went there not knowing.
Do you know what? I think in my heart I already knew, but
you held on to it.
I just thought, you know what? If on the first test day on the Tuesday, if I can be as quick as Max, then maybe then it's going to come down to a conversation about who's done this before, because Max has never endurance raced before. Who's a little bit older, a little bit maturer. Let's go to Joe. He's done it this before, and this would be a good one for Max to watch.
And he's got nice hair.
What, Max has?
No, you.
No, that's one thing that's not in my favour.
It's a bit Teen Wolf-esque, isn't it?
It's just given up.
You've not seen Teen Wolf, but you're fucking 50 odd.
50. It was after him.
Yeah, before my time, that.
But not like you're saying, a bit of experience, everything like that. Everything's going in your favour at this point, yeah.
Did you text the boss all these things, by the way?
No, because he doesn't speak English very well.
Did I like him cheeky inbox the night before he was making the decision?
No.
Here is a photo of my passport. Here is a photo.
Max is fast, but.
And do you remember 1940?
Nice guy.
No. But do you know what? I think they're a mega team. I will say the communication ain't great, but they'd be probably the first to say they agree with that. They're focused on building the bike and the project in itself. And so would I have liked a message to say before I got there, this is your role? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Was I a bit pissed off about it? Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And
Because you thought, I might be riding.
yeah, and I honestly thought it was going to come down to let's get the practice day done and let's see how everything sort of tallies up, because
Was it before that then?
No, I'd never even ridden against Max at this stage. So we get into the test day, and I look up on the board where they've written down like the riding schedule, the riding order, and it's Gabby, Ludo, Max, Gabby, Ludo, Max, Joe, lunch break, Gabby, Ludo, Max, Gabby, Ludo, Max, Joe. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting 2 sessions today, and they're all doing at least.
That's what
2.
I mean. It was the decision.
I think they'd already made that
test.
decision. To be honest with you, and I sort of was a bit pissed off at the end of day 1, and then at the end of practice, because I said, how the fuck do I ever prove that I am capable of going at that speed when I'm not getting the track time?
Honestly, that was exactly when I went and did that Suzuki thing. I'm like,
you know,
you want to prove that you can do it, but then when you then are the 4th,
you're always going to be 2-3 seconds off, because you're riding the shit tyres and you're doing
the track time. You get the cast off tyres.
So coming into
and if you crash as the 4th, then it's the
dirt.
Absolute no go.
Yeah. Is that what you did that then?
No, because I crashed in practice. I did in the pre-mon test, so it was the test. And it was shit conditions. And it turned out.
I've been waiting to abuse you about that all night.
And it turned out as well, actually, from that pre-mon test, it was really good because we all sat down and we were able to say, it pissed it down the mon in the dry. We rode the bike, and I said, "Do you change anything? You know, I don't know how this hub center steering fucking witchcraft works, but on a conventional bike, you back everything off, don't you, for the wet?" And they said, no, actually, you don't do a lot. And in endurance racing, you do even less, because if you're out and it's dry and it pisses it down,
you need to be riding
fucking get on with it. You just have to ride the bike. With that bike, you change very little. And when it dried out, we all had the same problem with chatter and with the thing just not handling right. So it was good, because at the end of the day, it was actually those crashes are because the bike was fucking horrible in the dry. It was going to be unrideable in the wet. So it was good. But back to the race weekend. We got to the end of practice, and I think I'd done 12 laps going into qualifying. And I'm like, what? That included out laps. And I couldn't really hold my tongue. And I said to a few people, I said, how the fuck am I supposed to do anything that's respectable when this is the position I'm in? And it's not knocking the team. It's just that's the 4th rider gig, innit? And I've trained that hard and kind of got in my head that I'm going to be racing. And to be fair to him, they said, look, you know, I think someone had been and had a word with Manu, the boss, and said, look, for qualifying, can we give Joe a new rear? The fronts are good. The fronts will do. You can still do the same times on a worn front at the end of the race. The rears are the issue. Can we put him a new rear in? And they came to me and they said, look, we're going to give you a new rear tyre so that you can get stuck in. And I went 3 seconds a lap quicker.
Yeah, Jesus.
You know, so they did. Max turned out to be the fastest out of all 4 of us.
Did he?
By 0.3 of a second.
Damn that nice guy.
Yeah, he's fucking
Damn
good.
the Germans.
He's really good. He's good. And in the race, he was fucking faultless. Yeah.
So how did you... So once the race starts, you can't use your 4th?
No.
So you essentially were done by this point?
So I'm at the beginning of the week thinking, I'm the 4th man.
I'm not sure is the rule once the race starts?
Yeah, you have
or
to
is it once the 3 have been out?
No, you have to confirm your rider lineup before the race. So if then before, at the end of warm-up, you can change your rider lineup before the race.
Yeah.
And if you...
Once the flag drops.
It's confirmed? No, but even before then. You've got like a window
like an hour.
Warm-up. Yeah, you've got an hour to do it. Name your team. That's the people. Give the transponders back. You give your transponders back. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
But the ADSS guys had come to speak to me, Chris Platt, who owns the team. So they're running Kawasaki's. They've done it for the last 3 years. They've got Chris Walker.
They've had Captain Kawasaki, Craig Watson. He's been part of the team as well.
Craig's
so get any more Kawasaki than that team right there. Let's face it.
Craig's like the team principal, I guess.
Right.
He's basically running all the making sure everybody's where they need to be at these times. This is what you need to be doing. It's like herding fucking cats in it. You know what bike races are like. We're never where we're supposed to be because we're never listening, are we? And so Craig's doing all of that, and he's fucking mustard. He's really
he
good.
will be.
But Chris Platt's the owner. He's the owner of ADSS, and he came to see me on Tuesday night, I think it was, after the practice. And he said, "What's your gig?" So I told him, and I said, "That's my situation." And he said, "Well, we've only come here with 3 riders. We haven't even brought a reserve because to be honest,
because this is a different class.
They're in stock.
So
they could have, over the winter, they could have said, we've got Stephen Hill, who's won the Stock World Championship with no limits in 20 or 21, I think. We've got Chris Walker and Chris Platt, who's the owner. So let's go out there and let's find a fourth man who slots into this team, because in the race, we want to run 4 riders. Nearly all of the other competitors are running 4 riders, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 in stock are only running 3 riders with a reserve, but they're only actually running 3 in the race. And they didn't do it because finding the chemistry where all 4 riders can not piss and moan about, oh, I need fucking stomp grips, I need my levers at this height, I can't fucking ride it with the gear lever there. You know, you need 4 riders who will say, I'll ride that, it's fine, it's good, and they can all then set the time. I think they've had some less than ideal experiences in the past, so they just said, you know what, we've got a good thing working with us, we've always done 24 hours with us three,
so let's just keep doing it.
And then I think between them they'd sort of got to Le Mans and gone, shit, we're going to be a bit of a disadvantage here. It's just going to be fucking hard work,
really tired.
And there's been a conversation. It's.
Have you competed at the Le Mans 24 hour then?
Yeah.
What did you ride? A Suzuki?
BMW.
So
Me and Michael Laverty and Danny Webb.
There you are. So to put that in perspective,
Did you?
Yeah, mega, absolutely
fucking
mega.
rubbing it in, will you?
So to put that in perspective, he's one of the fittest human beings on planet Earth. How hard is that? A stint. And what were the stints?
About 45-50 minutes, aren't they?
45 minutes.
Now they've gone on a little. I don't know, when did you do it? You were on carbs probably
19.
back when you did it. So
A BMW Boxer.
It was so hard because, like, to set the bike up, there was 2 shocks at the back.
no, what year did you do it? 19.
19, I think it was 19.
I don't know if they have
Might have
got
been 18.
more fuel efficient now, but they're doing about 53 minutes.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
An extra lap or 2, I reckon.
Yeah, so it
Probably.
is another couple of laps. Which,
So you're saying going there with 3 riders, that's extra stints, but to put that in perspective for the listeners.
if you're rounding it up, it's an hour a stint. You're doing an hour stint and then you get 2 hours off, an hour on. If you're rounding it up, aren't you?
Yeah, if you're 3 riders,
But it's staying awake. I would struggle to stay awake all day, never mind riding a motorbike and staying awake
The
all
hardest
day.
thing, so Danny had crashed in the first stint.
Surprise.
No, he hadn't actually. He crashed in the second or third stint, and he think he dislocated his shoulder, but then finished his stint and rode it back and did his thing. But then it was hurting him in the night, and then so he didn't ride the night at all, just so he could rest and recuperate. And then so me and Emlav did it, but I was feeling quite good, so I did.
You
I
double
did,
back to back.
I did double stint. Michael did 1, and then I did double stint again.
Yeah.
So I did 4 hours in 5, or it's not 4, but it was basically
I need to double check
4 out of
that,
5.
I'm going to retract my comment. Can I have an example from Christian Iddon here that how hard it is? He did double stints. We're not asking you again any more questions.
I think you would relish doing that though, because it's like a challenge, isn't it? And
I loved it.
He's fucking weird.
I'll get to that bit in a minute, because so the ADSS lads had come and had a chat and obviously had this fucking conversation, and I said, do you know what? I'm not going to give you an answer right now, because I am like a bit old school. I'm a man of my word, and although I haven't signed a contract with Bennetts, it's been a verbal agreement, shook their hands. You know, they've invested in me, they've trusted me to be part of this project. So I said, let me speak to them, and then I'll come and speak to you. But I said, from my side of stuff, if I'm not needed, yes, I'm available.
Yeah.
Because I've trained too fucking hard, and I've committed myself not to do the race.
And you're in the country.
Spewing. And I'm here, I'm sat here. So the first thing I did actually was I got the riders together, and I got my 3 teammates, and I said, look, would you think I'm a Grace bleep it? Would you think I'm a if I jump ship? When I know that I'm not needed. And they were like, not at all. Not at all. We 100% get it. And if that's, you know, if there's an opportunity, then you should do it. Then we had a chat with the team, and the team were like, yeah, no, that's cool, but we're not going to release you from the team until the morning of the race. So we are not going to, because we need to know that when all our riders have gone to bed on Friday night, nobody's got food poisoning, nobody's fucking
drank the tap water.
fallen out of the caravan.
Glacial water.
Fallen out of the caravan.
Or one of those dangerous little plastic steps that they have.
For you going around hacksawing everyone so they're weak in the middle.
So I said, all right, fair enough. So I went to ADSS and I said, look, this is a situation. So I said, I can't leave until the morning. So this was on like the Friday afternoon. So we went up to the organisers and said, look, in the morning, can we come to you before morning warm-up and sign me across to ADSS from Bennetts? And they said, no, the regulations clearly state that you've got between 5 and 6 on the Friday, and you've got an hour after morning warm-up. So there's me and Fabrice, who's the main man, like the main fucking coordinator for ADSS, who's French as well. And I'm thinking, well, that'll be on my side, because at least then he's only pissed off with half an Englishman, because he's pissed off with the Frenchman. So that's on my side. Because they hate us, they just fucking hate us. The French just hate us. It's as simple as that. And so I said, well, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, that, though, does it? Because I'm not going to have ridden a bike then if it's an hour after warm-up. I can't ride the bike in warm-up. And they said, did you not look at watch the regulations? I didn't want to say no, I fucking fell asleep, because the French had really not like that. But they said, no, the regulations are the regulations. You have an hour after night practice on the Friday, and then you have an hour after morning warm-up to change your rider line-up. So I'm like, for fuck's sake. So we went away. We went back at 8 o'clock, race day morning. We said, look, here's all the documents signed, because the teams have to sign to release you officially. There's all the documentation. Please, can you let me at least ride the bike for warm-up? And they went, no, the rules are the rules. You come back 1 hour after practice. The fucking race director wouldn't even speak to me. He wouldn't even come out of his office. So it was just someone else who went off to speak to him and came back and said, he says you should have listened to the regulations and the rules. The rules are the rules. And I was like, do you not see element of the safety side, where surely if a rider's changing the manufacturer of a bike, it's in the interests of
the
safety
event,
to at least let that rider have a go on the bike for 10 minutes. Bearing in mind, the Bennetts is this hub centre steering, wacky suspension on Pirellis.
This is a traditional bike.
And this is a traditional bike on Dunlops.
Oh.
And there was some response about, are you saying that you're not safe to ride the bike? And I'm like, oh, you fucking cheese-eating bastard. Like, what is wrong with you? And I nearly said, I bet we wouldn't be having this conversation if I was French. But I thought, no, Joe, walk away. You are
leave it for the
34 years old. You swallow it. So we went back, and they all came up, and the Kawasaki guys were like, look, fucking hell, what do we do? And I said, look, in my head, the first time I'm going to ride this bike is in the race. But it's a Kawasaki. It's a Kawasaki on Dunlops. They're black and they're round, and it's a green bike. It'll be grand. It'll be fine. And they were all a little bit nervous about it, to be fair, but it was Chris Walker just came up and he just went, you'll be fine. He said, that's the times they're going to do in the race. If you're 3 seconds a lap slower for your first stint, he said, if you're 3 seconds a lap slower than our slowest guy for the first stint, it doesn't matter. Just bed yourself in for the first stint. So I said, look, I'm happy to do that. Generally, I need about 10 or 15 laps, and I'm somewhere near where I need to be. So the first time I got to, so that was it. It was agreed. So the
Who
first
started
time
the race?
So Stefan started it. Then Stalker goes second. Chris Platt third.
Is that in order of speed?
Yes. Yeah. And on the timing screens, you've got first to 20th, 21st, and then 21st to 40th, and then 41st to... So we call it BBC 1, BBC 2, and then you're on fucking Dave +1 if you're on the third screen.
Deja vu.
And to be fair, we're on BBC 1 from the start of the race. And then I'm thinking... I had nearly 3 hours to contemplate it, but I thought, do you know what? I'm fine here. It's all right. I usually get chucked in at the deep end and have to swim, so it'll be all right, won't it? And
I quite like the idea of it. Like,
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It would take the worry out of it, wouldn't it?
Well, you know, like you were saying when you went to Oliver's Mount, you were nervous about all those things, and I said to you, but were you not nervous because it was completely new? You knew that you didn't have to be in. That's how I felt. I sort of went to it and I thought,
there's no expectation of Joe here.
Canoper's going to fucking drill me somewhere, isn't he? And Greg Black's going to fucking come past me like I'm stood still. But it is what it is. It won't be any different if I'm 2 seconds a lap quicker. Them boys are that much quicker. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. And I think as a timing, they'd said to me, if you just did 47s, which is not great, But they said if you did 47s in the race for your first stint, just go and do 47s if you have to do 47s. To put that into context, the front stock guys in the race are probably doing 37s, 38s. From 5th backwards, they're probably doing 40s, 40. But as an average across their 3 riders, the fastest might be doing a 40 and the slowest guy might be doing 42s. Yeah, 42s. So I'm like, oh, do you know what? My out lap was a 47. My second lap was, my first flying lap was a 45. Next lap after that was a 44, 43, 42, and I just sat at 42s. And I just rode around like I couldn't fall off. You know, if someone had a gun to your head and said, do not fucking fall off this bike, that's how I rode around. Yeah. And I just thought, because you don't want to be the dickhead, do you?
That would be the thing that would worry me.
They've drafted you and they've taken a punt on you. You can see the chemistry between the other 3 riders. They're all having the banter. They've all got their own little jokes that they've built up over their relationship. And they've brought this lanky twat in and he's put it over the fence in his first session. So I just took my time. And Stefan was doing high 40s, low 41s. Stalker was dropping into the 41s, but generally doing sort of 42s, 41s. And Platty was a little bit off that, but not by a lot. So I was happy, I just thought. And I came in, and do you know what? This is, as a 5-year-old, I didn't think I could be made to. I was at the test, and it was my birthday in between. So I'm being factually correct.
Well recovered. I
was 34 at the test. Then April came, I turned 35, and I was 35 at the race. Yeah,
I like it.
I did my first stint, and as I got off the bike, Stefan came running round, and he fucking bear hugged me and picked me up, and he was like, "That's fucking mega. They're all absolutely peaking in there." And this was as we were doing a rider change, and I was like, "Oh, good. Well, I said the bike's all right. You know, like that's when you should be having a bit of kind of handover talk." And he just that chilled out. That's how it was.
That's good.
And I came in, and the next man to greet me was Stalker, and I went and got a bit of physio afterwards. And I'm sat there, and he just came and sat on the bed next to me, and he just put his arm around me, and he went, "I'm fucking proud of you, mate." He said, "That was brilliant. Really, really good." He said, "You did exactly what we wanted you to do." He said, "And you were faster than we needed you to be." He said, and I just sat there, and I thought, "It's Chris Walker telling me that."
That's class.
You know, as a kid.
Yeah, legend.
You'd be delighted with that.
Ah, it was fucking...
That'd be like Christian telling some young boy that at some point.
I can telling you that. Because you've grown up watching him, you know.
Yeah.
Jason T's
When I was in that...
LC's. The evolution from twin shock to mono.
I'm sure I've got him on a videotape somewhere.
On a VHS.
Yeah.
But
mixing fuel.
So,
but yeah, it was mega. It was mega. So they didn't. I couldn't go to Spa with ADSS because they only ran 3 riders because it was only 8 hours.
Yeah.
And Bennetts didn't go because Bennetts are now building the Honda, so they're going to get, which means completely rebuilding the bike. So the bike's got a Suzuki engine in it. They're putting a Honda engine in it, which means redesigning everything front to back, and it should be ready for Boldor. Whether I'm going to be on that or the Kawasaki,
is that the next round? Is that the next
Boldor?
Boldor's the next. Suzuka's next.
Do them boys go there now?
No, very few of the world teams go because it's so expensive.
Like 5 or 6 top teams go, and that's it.
The factory teams go to obviously fight for the championship, and then
how much would that cost? A total stab of the dog figure.
It's something like 150,000 quid in shipping, but they've said
Jesus,
there's some deal been made where it's now a set fee to go, and it is actually, I'm not going to say affordable, but it's
in the grand scheme of things,
a bit more reasonable, and they have tried to make a deal for the logistics side of it. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm commentating for Eurosport, so I'm looking forward to going down there and being able to still be a part of the race that way. But yeah, I'll be at Boldor, and
let's lead into it. Come on, you're looking for support.
So
to get to the next
I've got two races that's going to happen this year. I got a message a couple of weeks ago from an Irish lad called Ryan Mayer, who has done the roads a few times, and he's an Irish roads lad.
Hold on, Maher. Oh God, that's good. Sorry, there you go. Carry on.
Do you know him?
No, I know him. I know him. It's the fact that you got it.
Maher. Well, I'm a Yorkshireman, so I'll call him Maher. Anyway,
that's class.
Ryan messaged me and he said that he's putting together a team to go and do the 24 hours of Barcelona, which is, I believe, is the only 24-hour race superbike race outside of the World Endurance.
Jesus, where?
But it's a really big, popular race that gets quite a lot of coverage, and there's quite a few EWC teams going to do it, I guess, because they'll have raised a budget for the year. They're probably not bothering with Suzuka. It's a good opportunity to go and do another 24-hour. So Ryan's got a couple of R1s. I'm not sure who my teammates are. There's a French lad who finished on the podium last year, and an Irish guy who I think races in the Irish Superbikes, and then Ryan himself. And then he rang me and he said, look, you're kind of a logical person to ring, and he said, I'd like to make sure that we kind of put a Brit on the bike, as you know, to keep it as British as we can, but as with everything, you need to bring some budget to help with the cost, because it's only a small privateer team. Do you know, like the start of this year, it's hard because I haven't gone out looking for sponsors, because I wasn't really clear on where my position was going to be, and I thought it was a real cunt trick to go out there, you raise 15-20 grand and then you're a reserve rider. To me, that's not acceptable. You know, if you're gonna go and get people to invest in you, you need to have your ass on the bike and be able to.
You need a clear plan of what you're doing. Yeah, sure.
And I mean, sorry, the Le Mans thing was an absolute fucking blast of an experience, but we dropped a valve at 15 hours in and we didn't finish the race. So we did all the night work, and actually, I was really, really happy because physically I felt fine. I got a little bit tired. 4 a.m. in the morning, I started to feel a little bit. Like not physically tired, just I could do a snooze. But on the bike, I remember going out for like my third stint at maybe 2 a.m, and the first thing, you can smell the barbecues, you can smell all the bike, because they've just got engines on the rev limiters everywhere, and they're just fires and everything. You can smell it all, and the air's really, really cold. And I remember going under the Dunlop Bridge, and I'd sort of sat in a chair with my eyes shut for a bit, and they'd gone, right, you're out, and it all kind of happens quite quickly. And I just remember thinking, this feels like a computer game. You know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sat on this 1000cc bike in the pitch black with all these floodlights. It just feels like it is
not real.
Yeah, it doesn't feel real. It takes a few laps, but I also remember thinking, I'm really glad and happy with myself at how hard I've pushed myself in my training, because I felt like if I had to go again, I could go again. If something had happened to one of the guys and they said, you're double stinting, I can go again. And I just thought,
fair play.
What was the drop off in times to the night? Couple of seconds.
No, you go faster at night usually.
To the same.
I set my fastest lap in the night.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, mate. I got
Because you couldn't see where you're going.
No, I got bored. I thought I'm just gonna. Actually, Greg Black came past me, and I was like,
you start switching off, don't you? If you're not careful.
I think it was the fourth of my stints. So like I'd done just that one in the middle with Michael.
I got bored.
No, but in a way it was just like you just hit your markers, and sort of you get into a routine and I had just got into a rhythm and a lap time. Michael was a lot quicker than me at Le Mans, actually. He was riding really well. But Greg came through, and I just jumped on the back of him and just did basically half an hour, sat behind him, and he just drove me around.
Dan came past me a few times, and
mega.
About all I could do was pick out what coloured sliders he got on and then say, I'll see you at the end. Fucking hell, that cert bike, unreal. But Dan said to me, he said, it's the nearest thing you'll get to riding a MotoGP bike.
Yeah,
that cert bike is... He said, I can basically go into a corner, and he said, I can just whack the throttle open, and he said, it just does everything for me. And they actually had some issues with the traction control in practice, and all three of them crashed. And what they'd done was they had issues with the traction, and then they said, I think it was only Dan that they said to Dan, it failed on Greg, and Greg high-sided on the last left before the double right, before the start-finish. And he'd high-sided out of there. So they'd said to Dan, look, we're having issues with this traction, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it off, and you need to go and have a go on it with it turned off, so at least if this happens in the race, you're prepped.
You can,
And he did an outlap and made it to the first chicane, tapped the throttle, and fucking high-sided himself. So
Really?
he said to me, that's how good the electronics are on that cert bike. He said it is just, and all the super bikes.
In terms of championships, it's probably the one that still has the biggest disparity in terms of bikes.
Between stock and superbike.
No, between even the bikes at the front of superbike and the bikes at the back of superbike.
Yeah, it's
in every other championship now. We've got all the rules to make everything really similar.
Yeah,
but I'm sure they do it to make the rules quite similar. But there's a big difference in budget and abilities between the teams. I think. Because it's so open in terms of electronics.
Yeah.
When I was with Cert, sat watching them because I was sat there for a long time because I was reserved. But they literally have like a bank of engineers just non-stop working.
Massive, yeah.
Whereas you might have another team in the same class that might have one guy who's a BT telecoms engineer or something.
Yeah,
who's
with the floppy
there
disk.
on the
Giving up his
weekend.
time, sleeping in the back of his transit.
Who said, "Oh, go there."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice.
Who's dialing in someone's traction?
So, sorry, quickly going back to it though, before I tell you what, the time is ticking on this episode, but we're talking about Ryan putting a team together.
Yeah.
You are the logical choice to put in an endurance team. That is fact. But it's a bit like you need to raise budget.
Yeah,
so
I do. Yeah.
You need to raise budget.
I need to raise budget, and Grace really it's hard because you've got to swallow your pride with the job, haven't you?
Well, no, it's not even that, mate. It's like the fact is you're a working class man with a family. You know what I mean? Money is
I'm putting in everything that I can without saying to the missus we can't pay the mortgage this month. Because the fact is, I've got 2 kids, I've got a mortgage. There's a
level.
There's something that goes out every month that has to go out every month,
of
and
course,
there has to be a certain amount left for shit. We've got this letter through from DVLA, the MOT fucking lapsed 6 months ago. Oh, fuck me, right? That money's there to do that. I have to leave that, but then every other spare bit of money I have, I don't buy clothes, I don't buy the fucking latest shoes, I don't phones. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I've got my money that I've got left, and I'm putting it in. So it's not that I'm not sacrificing myself.
No.
But the fact is that the budget to go and do it, Ryan's really fair, and I know what he's charging is fair, but I haven't got it. And the ADSS guys, if I decide to jump in with them, I have to take a certain amount of budget, and I haven't got it. So, I guess, yeah, do you know what? Grace put something out, and I was really flattered. There was a few people that reached out, and they've said, look, I can chuck a bit in the kitty, and they're really realistic people as well. They obviously get the racing gig because they know that what they're giving you isn't a title sponsor, but they're putting in what they can, and you're funked without it. So
they're dipping in that pot that you're talking about, that every family in this country has. You know what I mean? It's like, that's my bit of spare money, and there'll be people watching this going, you know what, Joe's all right for a Yorkshireman. Let's help him out a little. You know what I mean? And people want to get behind people like that.
Mark, Phil, and Kathy, thank you, because they've all chipped a little bit in, and I'm sure Robbie will as well. Robbie's been by my side for the last fucking
what a man he is,
7 years. But the fact is, if you've got a business and you're doing all right and you want to write some off against, rather than giving it to this fucking shower of shite that are running the country, you can write off as a tax deductible expense, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? If I was a business owner, I'd be looking for every possible way to put it back into something that I love, because it's tax deductible, rather than giving them fuckwits a penny, because they couldn't piss it up the wall any quicker than anyone, could they? So anyway, we don't talk about politics. So yeah, if there's anyone out there who's keen to get involved in the endurance job, come along, and get in touch with me, because
what is the best way of getting in touch with you? Obviously, please, Grace. Grace is kind of our carer here, really. You know what I mean?
You're still on dial-up, aren't you, pigeon?
I don't even know what a fax is, Christian.
He's got a feather that he dips in ink.
I've just got an extra wrinkle sat next to you.
Ooh, fucking hell, put the clothes down, girls. Fucking hell, love it. No, but seriously, for anyone who's listening, who wants to get in touch, it's please get in touch with Chasin The Racin, because Grace, God love her, I know she's got a lot on her plate. She's actually finished school, so the Lord Commander is. So she's done her last exam, so she'll be waiting for the result on that side of things, which is mental, because our boss is just finished school, which is kind of surreal. A-level school, it's still nonetheless. It's
adult school.
Adult school.
Do you know what? On a serious note, I was thinking about her the other day, and I thought, she's probably one of the hardest bastards I know.
No, easy.
When I think about from when Chrissy passed away to now, the way she has handled herself and going through the exams, and us dickheads sitting around here doing this, absolutely blows me away.
Yeah.
I was just pottering away to myself. I was working at my mum's house, pottering away, and I just thought, all sorts of stuff comes in your head, and I just thought, fucking hell. The way she's gone about everything, fair play to her. I just think amazing. Absolutely amazing.
She's been a lot of BSBs this year doing...
and she looks like she really enjoys it.
But smiling. It's not like she's not walking around wanting people to give her a cuddle and feel sorry for her. She's like, I'm here, we're going to do a pod, I'm around my friends, I'm in the environment that my brother loved, I'm in the place that Chrissy wanted to be and worked his fucking ass off to be in, and I'm happy to be here. I just.
Oh, well said, mate.
I just think
just to deal with us full wallies.
No, but I tell you what, lads.
You find me another 17-year-old who's got their head switched on like that.
Nah,
I don't know how
there's no one like that left in the world, man. There really isn't. But I tell you what, I'm going to take this opportunity. Like that unfortunate day is coming in closer, and it's been nearly 2 years, and it's. Lads, I'm going to have to say thank you very much to you, like, as well, you know, the fact that we've got a little group and we've just pulled this together. You know, people think podcasts, it's, you know, just sitting around the organisation. You've come from one side of the country, you've come from another. You know, you've had the family.
You've walked 12 steps.
You've walked 12 steps.
Watch your mouth. I'm always the fucking plum driving 2.5 hours north because you three lickers live up there.
Hold on, I'm defending you, mate.
I know, sorry.
No, but seriously though, at the end of the day, you know, it's...
Got your lemonade.
No, but lads, I just like... This is how close and near we are with everything that we're doing on Chasin The Racin. And we want to keep it going for Chrissy. We really do. And it's like, unfortunately, I was looking at my phone before. We don't have any Patreon questions, which is maybe a good thing. And it's been absolutely great because we're talking months, you know, since we've all had a catch up. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I really have.
Doing these ones, yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact, like, at the end of the day, we want to interview people because we want to get the positive messages out of racing. Everyone's got a story, but so do we. And it's been great to actually catch up with absolutely everyone here tonight. It's been mint, absolutely mint. But have we got any more final questions? Because I feel like we could leave, you know, the politics of our predictions and everything like that to another episode. You know what I mean? I think this is a good opportunity.
We could almost do another episode.
Mate,
I was going to say that. I'd love to hear like what people's opinion is on that because I really enjoy doing these. And like obviously we've talked a lot about the things we've been up to, but we've not covered a lot of like the rest of the sports news, to be fair, and you can't phically get it all into one episode.
No. And I know sometimes we've been given a bit of stick because when we've done these, people have then, and I don't look at the comments, but you do, don't you? And someone's commented, oh, you fucking missed this point and you missed this. Do you know what? I think it's fair to say this one was a catch-up for the four lads, and it was about what we've been doing. We've all actually been doing a bit this year. We've all had something to talk about for our own individual journeys. And I don't think that... Well, if you don't like it, fucking tune into something else.
Go listen to that other one.
I was going to say something about that. I tell you what, well, I love it. I feel like we should just close it there, but honestly, it's like... Lads, absolutely. No, but it's a podcast. I feel, at the end of the day, we're not governed by anyone. We have sponsors like OMG, Bennetts, JC, Truck Drive, Hire, and we have personal sponsors to keep the show on the road. And without you lot, with all the patrons, it just wouldn't happen. But this is what Chrissy wanted. Podcasting. Just getting together, slavering on, and hopefully people enjoy it. But we'll leave that up to you lot. Listening to this on that side of things.
Ends round out, Joshua.
When is the next Bennetts track day? Do you know when the...
Cadwell.
Is that the next
Cadwell
one?
Park.
I've been following because they're...
Give me a minute, I'm not being ignorant.
They're a bit extra this year, aren't they? They're a bit different. They're sort of not following the BSB calendar quite as they were before, but they're doing a bit extra at some of the events and stuff like that. So I'm sure you'll be able to check it out on their website. But yeah, just a thanks to...
And by the way, for all the listeners, like please have a look on our Chasin The Racin website or on the social medias, because we've got a lot of, like, John McGuinness, you couldn't have wrote it. The fact that he thoroughly enjoyed the book, believes in the book, but the Alan Carter story, you know, he absolutely, doesn't he? He absolutely loves it. And I got a lot of messages, how do I get a hold of the book? But please drop a message on all the social medias as far as Chasin The Racin concerned, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and then Grace will be able to, you know, sort that side of things out, no problem whatsoever.
I believe we've got a new cap photo model soon as well.
That's you. I'm not good looking enough for that. I'm a welder's bench of a model.
Could be Christian, won't it? Could be Benjamin Button over there. He'll be walking
Benjamin Button.
These
trying to hold this in now.
Can't look at me like shit. It's a compliment.
No, I think that one. I'll take that one.
So the next Bennetts Day is the 18th, Thursday the 18th of July at Cadwell Park. And then they've got one at Brands Hatch, Indy, which is the 7th of August, and then Donington Park National, which is Wednesday the 25th of September. And I've said it a million times, but if you've never done a track day before, or you don't want to go and be surrounded by club racers or BSB lads on the test, the Bennetts Days are mustard. They're
proper track time as well, isn't it? And it's split up sensibly.
Sensible numbers. It's like-minded people, and you know, I can't recommend them enough. I think they're brilliant. You know,
Totally
people
agree.
like McGuinness are there. I think John's at all of them as well, and you don't have to pay to have a ride around with him. You know, you can go and have a chat with him and say, "Can you do a few laps with us?" And he'll ride around with you. I'm going to be at the Cadwell one. Not that anyone's going to want to ride around with me, but I'll be at Cadwell, so it'd be good to see.
You'll be riding
people
for
there.
24 hours. You'll sit there till 2 o'clock in the morning, still going around.
But yeah, and all the other perks that go with the Bennetts job, isn't there? There's the pit perch, and all you have to do is get your insurance through. So.
We've had a bit of a break from BSB, haven't we? Like, I know we've had Knockhill, but it feels like really spread out. Like
2 weeks off.
it's only 2 weeks off.
2
since
weekends.
Yeah.
Are OMG still doing them prints as well? They are, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're doing the
prints got
like
the
the
merch,
limited
got
number
everything.
of prints per. I think for each round they're doing a run of different prints per round,
Right.
which you can buy.
Hey, at the end of the day, please go buy a T-shirt, because at the end of the day, without Alan Garner and the team supporting the show, this wouldn't happen. You know, we've got everyone's diesel chucked in to come do a show. You know what I mean? Bar Joe was 10 steps, but you know it's there. But
I'll have to restock the fridge.
that's it. No,
I'm not
but
sleeping
all joking
tonight.
aside,
Yeah, how you going to get your finger out alcohol free? It's bloody lovely.
but it'll be a good sponsor, that alcohol-free one. Like anyway, but
I think they're actually involved in BSB a little bit anyway. I think they do actually sponsor the series. They're on the website as a sponsor.
BMW, they're like, you see it on top rack stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but I
Like
think
0.0,
Heineken has
like-
definitely something to do with BSB this year. I don't know what
Right.
in what capacity, but it is in some.
I like it.
I've seen it.
I like it.
It's
So,
nice.
like, quickly rounding off, Snetterton next.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Armoy.
Armoy. Hopefully.
Catalonia next week.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. And for me, it's the Southern 100 with the Armoy.
When's that?
2 weeks' time. So it's you go to Snetterton, and then...
The week after.
So going into that Monday, so Sunday,
Aye.
going into that Monday, and then it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So straight back at it. But I think it's a perfect time to round it off. Yet again, thank you so much to all our patrons, OMG Racing, Bennetts and JCT Truck and Trailer Hire. And to read it off finally, our personal episode sponsor for this one is CJP Investments. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening to every episode, and thank you for getting behind the show. It really does make a difference. So
Cheers, guys.
guys, it's been emotional. I'm going home. Got
Cheers,
work
boys.
tomorrow. All right.